Welcome to the garage. Candyman and Hartman. We got that dog in us. We're drafting from the 2 spot. It's an Ffpc big gorilla high stakes fantasy football draft. To redraft, it's PPR, tight end premium, 20 rounds, kickers and defense included. You start a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, and a bunch of bench spots. Hartman, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing great, man. I'm excited. I can't believe we got the 102 in our first FFPC draft of the summer. And power move, we took Brock Bowers at the 102 just to set the tone for everyone else, just to let them know what they're dealing with. If they thought they could get Bowers in this room, maybe he falls, not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think, we were talking a little bit before we started, like it is a really tough decision spot where you can go so many different ways. What's up, Nick?
What up,
Um,
Nick?
but yeah, it is just a tough spot where you can go so many different ways. And I just think tight end premium Bowers could absolutely gap the field.
I like it. Yo, what up, Nick Bach? Nick, and we went with Bowers, tight end premium, the 102, had to do it to him. What up, Dirty? Appreciate you. Gonna roast every pick. Good luck roasting this one. Because we just took the generational Brock Bowers tight end pick. I mean, it's kind of like if Gronk and Kelsey, Tony Gonzalez, and who else am I forgetting? Jimmy Graham, all
It,
in one.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, really
Antonio
just
Gates.
the great
Just name every
the
best tight
greatest
end
tight
ever.
end.
How much
I
is the
mean,
draft? Good question, James. It's a $350 buy-in for a $1 million top prize. Yes. Bindles, what's up, brother? Hope you're having a great Saturday night. Enjoy the wedding. Have fun. Looking sharp, my man. Looking good. Have fun out there. We'll catch you on the late night. Well, actually, you're gonna be at this wedding for a while, but if you're a few drinks in, you pop back in, let us know how you're doing. This full PPR, Gerardo, yes, sir. This is PPR. It's a managed league. You have to start and sit players every week. There's waivers. It's tight end
tight end
premium.
premium. Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking the room by storm. 375? Was that what it was, Harmon? I think it was 350, right?
No, 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Love it, Dirty. He is a grown ass man. We've done that. Hashtag QBs matter on real time Thad. We're about to prove that QBs don't matter. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
He
appreciate y'all
knows a
being
good
here.
QB.
What up, Steph? How you doing? How's your Saturday going? Hope everyone is doing well. Appreciate y'all being here. What up, Putt Daddy? So tight end premium in this context would be every reception that the tight end gets is 1.5 fantasy points versus the standard 1 point for everyone else. And so it's a premium for the position exclusively.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um,
Is this a bit? A bit.
I don't know. I
This
didn't.
draft? No, this is a live draft. This is a high stakes draft. But if it looks like a bit, I'm not sure. Actually, this is just an Excel sheet that Hartman and I are typing into and pretending like.
And manually updating.
Yeah, it's kind of ripping along though. Nice. McCaffrey does go the 10th overall, and then Trey McBride to the 11th. So those are 2 players I was trying to keep tabs on to see where they went. How's the first round looking for you, Hartman?
I think it looks pretty much how you would have expected it, right? Like, I, everything looks pretty normal. Nico goes a little bit late. That's really the only thing out of normal, I guess. You see the running backs going over the receivers, where you wouldn't usually in like underdog or something.
Yeah, that's true. Um, it seems, I mean, because like it seems pretty in line to this point. Nico going in the kind of towards the middle of the seconds, a little bit of a nice price there, I would think. But that's where he typically goes. London.
Yeah.
And then I'm hitting you up in the private chat.
Okay. So you're also logged in, right? Like you can see all the list and
Yes.
everything, or no? Okay, yeah. Um so I'll add some to the queue. Um and then yeah, like either let me know in the private chat or add someone if you want.
Well, this is a dumb question, but I have the draft board, but then how do you see the available players?
Oh, I can share it if you want.
Well, I think I can get to it too, but
It's like two separate tabs.
right, that's what I thought. I'll have to open it up in a sec. Let's make this
Okay.
pick first.
So I'll share this tab.
Yeah,
So we go AJ Brown,
that's what
Bucky
I was
Taylor,
thinking.
AJ Brown.
Probably.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm cool with that. All right. Cool. Yeah, I was mainly between him and probably like JT. Um that was mainly what I was thinking.
I just
But
think we'll see what running back comes back around because I kind of like the options that are still left right there. And if like Rice is there, I think Rice could be nice with our next pick also.
yeah, that's what I'd kind of be hoping for. I think, he's a lot more valuable in a full PPR format,
Yeah.
and getting him like in the early third in this format feels really good actually. He should be valued even higher.
So quick question. I'm looking at the draft board, like I've got it up in a tab, but then what do I click to get to our queue? Like
So I think you want to go to the actual league on like the FFPC site and
right.
click go to draft room.
Oh, yeah. Duh. It's just
Yeah,
loading.
and then that way you'll be able to like add people into the queue too and stuff, and then we can like
Perfect.
talk about it.
Yeah. We're up next. Perfect. Okay. We got this.
Okay,
Let me just turn off
so
the audio. That's so funny that it's default on.
oh yeah. Yeah, it's hella loud too.
I know. Just God. I don't think I was sharing that screen though, so no one really heard that. But oh, shocking.
Um, all right. So I mean, here, are you thinking Rice or Taylor or Bucky?
I think I have a preference for Rice, but I also like Bucky a decent amount, and I think that's Bucky's like a pretty. That'd be a big bet.
I like Rice too. That would be my lean.
Yeah. Let's just do Rice then.
All right. Yeah, I was mainly leaning between Rice and JT. I'm not. I get the case for Bucky, but I'm just not quite as in on him.
Sure.
Where Rice, like I love Rice this year. I'm super in on him.
Super in as well. I mean, tons of Rice. I've been very in on AJ Brown all season as well. So I think
Mhm.
a really strong start. Players that we consensus like feel really strongly about. Brock Bowers, AJ Brown, Rashi Rice with our first three picks. I've also figured out how to look at the queue. So flying the plane, building it along the way, streaming it, drafting it. This is our first FFPC draft of the summer. It is a $350 entry, high stakes, big gorilla with $1 million top prize. There's 12 people in this pod in this draft, and the format is it's scoring, and then you want to advance out of your pod, and the finals is a sprint format, right? So then we'll if we make it out of this, when we make it out, we'll compete for we get a little payout, and then we compete for the grand prize against all of the other league winners for
Yeah,
that $1 million top.
and the league pod is decided. It can be wins and losses or total points scored. You can be the top two either way. So that's a pretty cool little wrinkle too.
Steph, is yours in? It's like it's local, right? So like you're just gonna be in the Dallas area for yours. That's cool. That's nice. Always fun to do live drafts. I think anytime you can get a live draft in, it's always a fun experience. Is Chase at the 101 a surprise? I don't think so. We were just talking. He's pretty much
No.
the consensus 101. We would have been surprised if Bowers went 101, and then we had the ability to take Chase. I think that would have been surprising.
Yeah, yeah.
Bowers Kittle start. What up, Justin? I don't think we're going down like the bully tight end path. Obviously, Kittle goes right before our pick, but I don't think like Hartman, you weren't really considering Kittle, were you?
No, I mean, I think it could be like viable if you took him in the third, like with our third round pick in this format.
Sure.
But I don't think it's generally going to be the best bet you can make.
Oh, best regards from Germany. Shout out to MP60 DC4L. Thanks for being here. Appreciate
Shout
you
out, man.
stopping by. Yeah, just ripping some FFPC. We're getting into it. We're having a fun time. Hartman and I have been drafting best ball teams all summer, individually and then together on stream a good amount. So I feel like we wanted to team up, draft one of these together, dip our toes in. And it's my first FFPC draft. Hartman, I think it's yours as well, right?
Yeah. Both of our first
Both of our
FFPC
first.
draft.
And we're big consumers of a lot of content around FFPC drafting. For years, we've been watching other people draft, listening to the podcast, watching the live stream drafts, and using that information. Also, reading articles, following waiver columns like Steph writes up. If you don't know, Steph Miller puts out some high stakes weekly waivers with legendary upside. So, content like that we've been consuming for years just to stay, sharp and get edges across all formats. And so I think it's only a matter of time until, deciding to draft one of these teams. And why not? Why not get one in June? We have limited information, but also we have a pretty good. We've been doing a bunch of drafts. Like Hartman, I think you're probably in a similar range. I think you might have done more drafts than me. I did about 130 pre-NFL draft, and I've done like 200 post-NFL draft.
I'm closer to like I did 260 pre-draft.
Yeah.
And then I did like about 300 post-draft so far.
Yeah. So we feel like we've done a number of drafts and best ball drafts to kind of get ready for this, but this is a whole different beast. It's a managed league. It's PPR and tight end premium. There's kicker and defense. It's a whole nother world, but we're excited to get into it. And we appreciate y'all being here. So shout out to Germany and good morning over there. I think
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
early in the morning. Nice. This is starting off pretty ideal. I mean, getting the 2 spot alone, right? That was super clutch.
Yeah, I mean, I do think a little bit like we probably could have got Bowers at like 4 or 5 also, but I think how it fell to us where we got AJ Brown into the second and then Rice beginning in the third, that feels like a really, really nice start.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, like some of the players that went above are a little surprising, like Jacobs and Garrett Wilson. Like even over AJ Brown. So I don't know. I think it worked out pretty well.
Kyron, and then Garrett Wilson. I mean, I don't see.
PPR, right?
Yeah, but I still don't see how Garrett Wilson's ceiling is better than AJ Brown.
Yeah, just because they're going to be low pass volume too.
Both.
I mean, yeah, and like AJ Brown's efficiency just pretty much blows him out of the water. So, yeah, it is kind of tough to see. I think you're just expecting like 30% target share type stuff, right? If you're taking Garrett Wilson that high.
Yeah, just like the highest target share on like the lowest volume, one of the lower volume passing offenses. I think of Wilson as more like a 3rd round pick, and just in my like the way I like it, where we would go.
Wilson feels like really safe to me, but it feels like like in the third, he's like a fair price, but he's probably not likely to really disappoint or really beat it. Like he
Yeah,
seems
no, that's what
okay
I'm
there.
thinking is like he can only really pay off. I can't see him returning. Oh, Garrett Wilson actually was the wide receiver 2 or 3 on the year. I think he's still going to slot into like best case scenario. He's a top 10 guy.
Yeah, he would just need to get insanely lucky with touchdowns would be the only way. Like if he
Sure.
got like 13 or something, maybe he can get like top 5 receiver status, but
Yeah. And then I think this player we have queued for our next pick, we're both in agreement on this one and something we talked
yeah.
about, as we were strategizing for this previously. So if you're
We
new to
want
the
to take him
channel,
here.
yeah, I was thinking unless you think we can push him, but who else would we take? Because I still kind of think there's a few options afterwards that we could be good with.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a
Yeah.
tier break, so maybe we just lock him up and not
Yeah.
risk it, right?
That sounds good to me, yeah.
Because we've got the stack, which feels really strong, and then it's like the tier break to the next quarterbacks.
Yeah, and we're getting like a guy who's valued like in my eyes the same as any of those top 3 guys, and you're getting such a
No doubt.
discount and stacked. Like the stacking element too. I've heard some people on some of the FFPC shows talk about it, how it gets maybe like a little underrated because it's managed format,
Mm-hmm.
but stacking is still so critical, especially for that sprint format at the end.
I 100% agree. I think that's a good point to bring up. You got to remember about the sprint. What we're trying to do is win the sprint.
Right. Right, yeah, because like you don't want to. You can win your league without stacking, I'm sure, but to win the sprint, you're going to have some stacked players.
I'm thinking through some of these next options. Yeah, I like the rookie, the third one in our queue. I think that's very viable. I think could be a really good choice.
I mean that would kind of be my lean. Um, I think just with having it managed, maybe the top guy is a little more risky in a format like this versus best ball.
Yeah, I just swapped it around. I was totally thinking that too. I think the only reason I clicked it is because it was at the top of the available player queue. But I and it's so funny because like we don't have I guess we didn't have rank set in here, so you kind of have to scroll around a
Mhm.
little bit to see the guys you like and make sure you're seeing everything. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
let's go ahead and
So
take them.
the rookie.
Yeah, I think so. And then we're just going to commit to kind of more of a we'll figure out the RBs when we can.
All right, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think when we go elite tight end and elite QB, we're kind of going
We're
into a
committed.
0 RB type build, yeah.
Who would have guessed? Guys that listen to RotoViz and Best Ball Bros, who would have guessed the 0 RB start?
The the primary underdog drafters can't believe the wide receiver values. Who can who could have seen this one coming?
I guess we're officially piss boys now.
It is surprising to me that Tet goes that late, especially full
Insane.
PPR. Like his
Insane.
archetype is like a PPR monster.
100%. And I mean, I'm gonna go and go out on a limb and say it has to do with him being a rookie, I guess, because I'm just
He ain't
looking.
done shit.
What's that?
He ain't done shit yet. You
Yeah.
can't
Maybe
pick
there's a
that.
little bit of that like idea set around it.
Mhm.
I'm because I'm looking at all the other wide receivers, and it's like, I guess he's clearly the first one to go, and then some of the rookie running backs. It's like Genty. People have just kind of you have to get in line with Genty.
Yeah, he's
There's
the dude.
Hampton. I like where Hampton goes here, though. I thought that was a good pick. I think Hampton's like a really really strong pick. I've been more into him as well. Hartman, do you want to give a quick review of the first 5 picks we've made? Since we're at the turn, we have a little bit more time before our next pick.
Yeah, sure. So first round we went Brock Bowers. then AJ Brown, then Rashee Rice, Jalen Hurts in the 4th, and then Tet McMillan in the 5th.
Had to do it to him.
Oh yeah.
If you're new to the channel, if it's your first time here, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you go into the description and subscribe to Hartman's channel as well. And consider following us on Twitter. I'm at FFB Garage. And then Hartman, didn't you just change your Twitter handle?
Oh yeah. I made it Hartman FF. Easier
Hartman
to
_FF used to be FF Stooge, but now it's Hartman _FF. Very professional.
Oh yeah. Had to make it a little easier to find. But
I like the old one too, but
oh yeah.
Good stuff.
What do you think of the guys started at the 3 spot?
Let me take a quick look. That's not how I would play it.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty rough build.
That's a huge bet on Jameson Williams. Maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe Amon-Ra's gonna start on the pup or something. That's what he has to believe that or something.
Yeah, that is I don't know, especially the second tight end. Like, I just can't really see when you make the bet on the elite doing kind of like a bully tight end like that. I get the premium part. Like, it makes sense. I like Hawkinson a lot too, but it just seems like a lower cap position to put your bet into.
I think it lowers your ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see. I'm gonna catch up. I know we have some players queued up from our last bit, but we've got some time before our next one. I think those players are all gonna go, and then we'll see what comes back around. So our next pick is going to be we're at the 102 spot, or picking from the 2 spot. Our next pick is going to be at the 6-11 and then 7-2. So 6-11. Pick 71 and then pick 74.
Man.
Let me look at our oh yeah.
There's quite a bit of options down there actually.
You're liking some of the players you think are going to be around pick 70 for us?
Yeah, no, I think hopefully we'll get some decent guys back. Yeah, I mean, I think we're probably leaning more towards running back, but we'll kind of see what makes it.
Yeah, and you never know. I think this is the range where in the 6th round, we've already seen like Hawkinson go, and then Kelsey go. I think we've already seen Burrow go. The point I'm getting to is like there's only going to be so many deviations from running backs and receivers that are selected over like the next 10 picks.
Oh yeah.
So probably this next round, like we're not going to see a lot of value fall at running back or receiver. It's going to be probably right in line with the ADP, if I had to guess.
Yeah. No, I mean that is probably true, but you never know. Sometimes people got to go and get their guys.
True. True.
But yeah, we'll have to kind of see what falls to us. But I think there's enough picks that we like.
What up, Sus? GM? Tyler, what's up, brother? Hope your Saturday's going well. Thanks for being here. Great start. Appreciate that, Justin. Appreciate that. Rice, Thad's not a fan on real time. Yes, the Dallas meetup. That's super fun stuff. Good luck with your draft tomorrow. People forget. Yeah, for Garrett Wilson once Tyrod takes over. Ooh, the Fields fade. The Fields hate.
Oh yeah, so I guess we unintentionally we got so the first 2 games of the week there, the free looks are Cowboys Eagles and Chiefs Chargers. So we actually got some good.
We have some nice, yeah, the 2 free looks already. We found out what pick we had earlier today, but we didn't know too far in advance before the draft filled. The draft actually filled today.
Yeah, so you know as soon as it fills.
Yeah, we got the 2 Eagles. We've got Rice.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to be. What up, Alex? How you doing, brother? Bowers went 111 in BGT last night. Crazy range on Bowers right now. 100%. Yeah, we've been hearing and been seeing him going all over the place. When Hartman and I, we did a stream together on Thursday night. We kind of walked through for about an hour. We walked through our strategy for this draft, and we came to the conclusion that we think Bowers could just be the best pick in the first round. And so wherever you can get him, I think is kind of what we are thinking. And then we got the 102. We still like the range. And then I think so. Even if you can get Bowers in a later pick in the board, pairing him up with these players from the 2 spot is what makes it different. Or also gives us a lot of value to take all the players that are on this side of the board.
Yeah.
So it's coming up. I think okay, so
Do you think the rookie or which one do you lean?
I guess it's the rookie. I don't love the offense, but I think it's pretty safe as far as like an easy person to start every week.
I mean, I'm fine with the other one also. I don't know if maybe we could get both.
I'm trying to look at the ADP difference real quick. Let me take a quick look at this.
Um
I think we can still get the other one on the way around.
Okay. All right. So get the rookie.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else we could do that makes sense here.
I don't really think so unless yeah, I mean I don't really think so.
I'm cool with it. Let's do it. Let's take the rookie,
Caleb
Johnson. So I think I'm pretty confident in his ability to hold down the majority of the touches in that backfield over Jaylen Warren. So that's kind of where, I mean, people are on the fence about it. It's a split backfield, sure, but not many backfields aren't split. And we're betting on the upside. We're hoping in the upside scenario here that he does take over sooner than later.
Right. And I think kind of like you said too, we know that he'll get some playing time regardless. So at least he won't be like a 0 or anything.
No doubt.
All right. So are we thinking running back or receiver here?
I was kind of thinking running back. Let me just take a quick look.
You think top guy or you think someone else?
I'm kind of thinking top guy. Let me take it. I'm thinking what will be there in like the next rounds. If we think, like, do you think there's a better combo if we take the receivers first and then get a running back later on, or do you think this is a fine spot to go ahead and get that?
I think there's a lot of good receiver options later. I think running back's really going to dry up hard.
We still got 20 seconds. Let me take a quick like look through of what the receivers where I think they like.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of receivers that are going to be available that will like for a wide receiver 4, right? So I think we get the running back. Let me just make sure.
Pollard then?
Yeah, let's do Pollard. Let's do that.
All right, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a good pick there to kind of double tap it. We have our 2 starters required now. We can take more shots at running back later. And
No
I
doubt.
think a lot of those receivers on the list for that next area still look really good.
Yes. Yeah. And it's our wide receiver 4. And so we're really choosing our flex player with our next pick, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so
we already have Tet in our first flex, so We just need one more.
I like the idea of securing our second running back here, and then we have the luxury pick with our next one where, a running back fell that we really like, or a receiver's there we really like. We can take them both. I mean, it's easy at the turn. Like, we've been pushing players. We didn't push Hurts, but for good reason. But then we still got T-Mac, right? We pushed Rice around because we were pretty good with AJ Brown or Rice. We get both of them. So I think making sure that our next pick, we just have that a little bit of freedom to take anyone that can fit into our flex versus being like, hey, we really need one more running back. And man, they just dried up on us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we still got out of it okay though. Like we could have got a guy like Trevion or Connor or Mixon instead of Tet, but I think we still got two that we feel pretty good about. You know, Caleb should come on as the year goes. And we're gonna throw more volume at running back overall, probably. So we'll have a lot of contingent guys that could give us real like late season spikes.
No doubt. Yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying there. The late season spikes. I mean, what's your underdog exposure on Tedroy McMillan right now? If you ballpark,
Like 25%.
incredible. I think I'm at like 18 or 19%.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, he's actually my highest drafted receiver on underdog.
It's only fitting we get him here. And when have you ever gotten him in the 5th round of any draft you've ever done?
Right. Yeah, not since pre-draft. That was the last time he went in the 5th round. He hasn't, he goes 8th overall in the draft. With that level of talent, like second receiver, first receiver taken, depending on how you like view it. But I don't know, just with that capital, that level of talent, that level of production in college, he doesn't really seem like there's much bust chance because it seems like he's going to dominate targets on that team. It's really just up to
Right.
Bryce Young improving.
Yeah, it's he's going to dominate the targets. It's going to come down to if Bryce can put some catchable balls up for him, and if the offense can get moving. They've got Chuba Hubbard, keeping the chains moving, and then you've got T-Mac now to move the chains. They've built out the depth in their skill position players over the last couple of years, and then the offensive line being kind of one of their strengths as well. The defense still being a weak point, I think, most would regard it that way. So looking for some good game scripts to be passing the ball in a lot would be nice.
Yeah, and I mean they were like one of the worst defenses last year, even though they put some capital towards that. It's not like they're going to turn around and be a top tier defense in the NFL. So there should be pretty good game scripts too for just the passing attack there.
No doubt.
So wow, so we pushed running back further than everyone else in the room. By quite a bit, huh?
Pushing running back?
Yeah, we pushed running back further than everyone else.
Yeah, by far. But also, we're the only team with an elite QB and an elite tight end.
Yeah, no, that is true. Yeah. No one else got that. Someone got right, he went double elite tight end. So he got 2 elite onesies also.
Which is kind of nice that he took 2 of them because then it dries up a little bit for other people. But it doesn't, at the end of the day, like, who knows? But just that we'll have less competition. Maybe he starts Hawkinson in his flex, right? I guess that's what he's going for.
Mm-hmm.
But then most teams are going to be a little bit weaker at tight end. So that actually makes our case stronger.
Right. Yeah,
it's small, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean I definitely agree with that. Like I see the logic there. And like the one team they got Jaden and Kelsey, but they're really weak at receiver because of it. Like some of their receiver rooms come out pretty weak when I don't know, like the 12 spot.
I would agree. And then Jordan Addison, love him. One of my favorite players in best ball. Just electric, right? The guy is so fun to watch. Can score. Can break a slate. put up big spike weeks. If he misses 2 games, if he misses 3 games, it starts to become a little bit, I think, challenging if you have a slow start.
Yeah. Well, and he's a guy too that I would worry just a little bit more in like a redraft style format where he's so boom bust. Where in like
Sure.
your best ball teams, like that's that's fine if not an advantage. But in a redraft format, I think it's a small knock on a guy like that.
Right. Yeah, so far, and I have a lot of, I know you and I, we've done so many underdog drafts.
Mhm.
I know a lot of the players we like late, especially at the running back position, that
Yeah.
I feel like, yes, we're going with the 0 RB start. It's risky to see, if we can land it and get some of these running backs to fall to us. But what were they saying about this 2025 rookie running back class? Some were calling it what again?
Oh yeah, one of the best rookie running back classes of all time.
Oh,
And
okay.
then they don't go to the perfect spot, so they're not good anymore.
Okay. So I think we got some options late. We got some high upside picks late that we'll get into. And
Oh,
we both were talking, I won't give away too much of our secret sauce, but our strategy on what we would do if we got Hurts. We said that like if we didn't think we would go elite QB, but
no.
if we did, we have a certain way we want to play that. And so that also frees us up on the second half of the draft to get other positions right. We don't need to double tap QB in the middle and take like Dak and Fields or any combo like that. We're going to feel pretty confident that it just hurts, and
Mhm.
we'll figure it out later if during his bye week. And he's kind of a linchpin of our attack.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Like it just gives us more roster spots to throw those darts, just at the possible upside running backs, receivers, maybe like one other tight end later, but we can stop at one or two with that also.
I love that, two meals.
Good strategy.
Yeah, love it.
Um, where are we at here? Okay, yeah. Yeah, some of these like just because of our build, obviously I think Pollard was the right pick. But a lot of those seventh round receivers, it seems pretty surprising to me, like given the format, like with full PPR. And like Olave, especially, he feels like he goes way too late in this format.
Yeah, yeah, I would tend to agree because we have to hope that McMillan, outproduces Olave, Waddle, Adunze by a good margin, or at least are just comparable but better, because and then later as the season goes on, even better kind of thing. Let's look.
Right.
So our next pick from the 2 spot, we've got pick 95 and 98 with our next 2
Mhm.
turn picks.
Um,
I'm looking across the available players.
yeah, I'm queuing up a few guys
Yep. I like
just in
I like what we're
case.
looking at here.
Um, would you ever consider going with a second tight end here or no? Probably not.
I don't know. I'm curious about that because you're looking at this one right here, right
Uh
in the queue, number 6.
oh, let me see. It didn't add it. Uh, yeah, yeah.
I'm curious about that. I think
Because I mean, it could be a flex play, but I don't know. Maybe we want to just we probably want to lock up a running back first, right?
right, and then try to push it a little bit,
Yeah,
and then
yeah, and
consider it
then
the ninth round.
yeah, I think that would be my lean. To grab a third running back here, so we feel pretty comfortable at that position, and then we can kind of decide what we want to do with the next pick.
Wow, Tucker Craft, big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Tucker Craft.
I know you do too. And I've been in on him as well, but that's a interesting spot. And then Jaden Reed goes. Wow. Okay.
So do you think
B Rob, right?
Washington or B Rob? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way to play it. Yeah, not the sexiest pick for full PPR, but at the same time, bet on the offense,
Mhm.
and seems like the right range to take him.
I actually like Warren a lot, but obviously we can't take him. Yeah, I like him quite a bit in this range too. But already having
You do like
Caleb.
Jalen Warren? I'm pretty out on Jalen Warren. I'm not. You think because with Aaron Rodgers being there, it has a little bit more upside for the pass catching. I think Caleb Johnson's a
Yeah,
good enough pass catcher too. But
yeah. Well, but Caleb was pretty limited as a pass catcher in college, right?
I think
Oh, okay.
they didn't pass a whole lot. Um,
Oh, okay. Um, all right. So, do we think rookie running back here or receiver, tight end?
yeah, this is a
I
good question.
I lean Scadaboo.
I kind of do too because we're both so in on him. We both know what we're getting into. We need some upside at running back, and
Yeah.
I feel confident in our receivers. The tight end, I think we just stick with Bowers and not try to flex a tight end if we don't have to, and we can still get some value later. So I think let's take a quick look at the board, see what else is there. I think we've kind of made up our mind though that we want to go with a pick that you and I both feel really confident in. Let's hit Scadaboo.
Scadaboo. All right.
You know, it's funny. I was putting my 2-year-old down for a nap earlier today, and then she was down, and I was laying there next to her in her bed. And my number one recommended YouTube video was a 30-minute Cam Scadaboo highlights from college, from Sacramento State all the way through Arizona State. And boy, I got about 15 minutes into it, and it was incredible. So only
Yeah.
fitting that we get him on this team too. We're both super high on him, and I think in PPR makes a ton of sense. We just have to hope. Obviously, he beats out Tracy, but I've been on the Scadaboo over Tracy side the whole summer. You know, ever since I saw Scadaboo uh, almost single-handedly take down my Texas Longhorns in the college football quarterfinals. Incredible game. What a gamer. What a guy. You know, he had a passing touchdown in that game. And something that he also did in college. He had passing touchdowns in college. The double pass with Scadaboo. He can do it all. Run, break tackles, catch balls, throw balls. I think he's just gonna. I think he's gonna be an instant hit in the NFL. But we'll see.
Yeah. He just like I don't know if this is wrong or not, but like he just reminds me a lot of David Montgomery. Like that's just I don't know.
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like when I watch him play, they just seem so similar. Like Scadaboo's a little bit more of a pass catcher, but Montgomery has good pass catching ability too. I think he's kind of actually underrated there. But I don't know. Yeah,
You heard
it's
he
just
was trying to
Scadaboo.
predict.
Oh yeah.
He knew it.
Where?
He's been watching our drafts. Yeah, Mason had already gone.
Yeah. I was wondering where he went.
In my underdog ranks. I do have Brian Robinson and Mason like pretty close, but I think I still have Robinson a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the
I think I'm
Tyler
the
Warren
same.
selection there is a pretty nice pickup. The team who got Kraft and Warren, I think that's
Yeah.
nice.
Well, I mean, we were even debating Tyler Warren a little bit there. I think we
Right.
just decided structurally it wasn't the right call, but that's a great value on someone with that much draft capital pedigree.
Tootin time. Yeah, Alex, we thought about Tootin as well. I
Yeah, he
think
was on the list.
wow, did you see that running back that just went Trey Benson
Oh wow, wow, that
with
is
James
incredible.
Conner? The team has James Conner also and Gibbs.
Handcuff.
Handcuffing in the ninth.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sharing this. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's it's
watch her scroll.
it's a
Hartman's
new.
co-piloting and flying. I guess I'm technically the co-pilot right now.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot mine was the one sharing. I was like scrolling all up and down. Yeah, I
For
mean
sure.
that like
If we didn't have Bowers, so Hartman in the chat is saying, if we didn't have Bowers, that we would have gone Warren. Hartman, do you agree with Hartman?
oh yeah. No, that guy's sharp. He has the right idea.
Yeah,
Warren
nice
would have
profile
been
pic
an
too.
easy click. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it would have been. That's just the way it goes, though. It's like sometimes in snake drafts, you have to think about the opportunity cost of each pick ahead of your next one. We knew taking Bowers, that pretty much deletes any opportunity we have in these middle rounds to take another tight end, unless we wanted just to be have so much of our draft capital into tight ends. And we both agreed, like kind of before we started this draft, that we didn't think that was the best path. We're kind of planting our flag and saying it's Bauer's season, and now let's go get value at all the other positions. So we want to win at tight end, we want to win at QB, win at wide receiver, and then we're trying to hit on these running backs. Caleb Johnson, Cam Scattaboo, huge upside swings, in rookie prospects that we feel good enough about landing in the offense as they did. Tony Pollard, more of our stable veteran presence, high touch guy. And then Brian Robinson attached to a really nice offense is pretty much the selling point there.
Mm-hmm.
Hook 'em, baby. What up, Miles? How you doing, brother?
Oh, and just with B-Rob, like, I wonder if his snap share is a little underrated. When he's healthy, he actually does get a good chunk of playing time, and he's always their goal line back. So I wonder if his upside's a little underrated.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Oh, for Brian Robinson. Just
Oh,
because,
sure,
like,
sure.
when he's healthy, he does put up pretty good numbers usually. He's always the goal line guy on a really good team.
What's up, Green Bean? Yeah, 2 mules. Appreciate your post. Yeah, don't let our best ball bro demeanor put you off. I speak for myself. I try to learn more every day, get better, engage with the chat, and y'all have fun doing it. That's the whole thing. It's all for fun. It's all vibes based. So I appreciate y'all being here, hanging out with us on this Saturday night, and I hope you're doing well. And we're just pumped. We're pumped to be drafting this FFPC team. We're gonna get some of our guys. That's the way we're gonna do it, and we're gonna have fun along the way. So, Hartman, how do you feel about being a best ball bro and people thinking you might just be only a best ball bro, but then they come to learn that you actually have some pretty articulate takes?
I mean that always feels good.
Feels good.
I don't know how articulate my takes are, but I'll take the compliment.
I love on stream Hartman because he's like the most humble, smiling guy. So nice, so gracious, just a complete gentleman and a scholar. But then in the chat rat Hartman is just sarcastic and taking the piss out of everyone and calling them on their shit and always jabbing at people. Incredible.
It's so easy to be a keyboard warrior. You know what I mean? Like that's what I really live for.
I know you're pretty active in the Discords too. For me, it's like I can only do so much, but I like to lurk around the Discords. But yeah, being in the chats is always fun. It's hard though because it's so easy for chats to come across negative. But when it's like in person, when people are talking, they're always like nicer than they appear in the chat. So I always take what people say in the chat and assume like they mean well.
Yeah, no, that is true. Like I've kind of noticed that too. Just reading them is like when you don't have a tone, it's so much different. Just
100%.
like it feels like it's like like almost like attacking you sometimes when it's like a take, and it's like oh no, it's just like a take. It's not like that.
Is your queue working right now?
I
queued up a player, but it's not. Okay, there it goes.
I think I have to refresh it to see if you added a player.
Oh, really?
Or oh
It's
no,
it's
okay,
sometimes
it
slow.
pops up. Yeah, I
Yours
think
will
it's
pop
just
up like late for me. Because I don't think we're obviously not taking a QB in this range, and we've gotten to the QB pocket.
Right. I think we either go. I mean, do
So
you
we're at
think
10,
rookie
11.
receiver?
Do you have other players queued?
I only have rookie receiver and rookie running back.
So I can't see rookie running back, but let me refresh. Sorry about that.
I mean,
I think I'm guessing who it is. Yeah, I think we can. I'm trying to look at his ADP for the rookie running back. I'm kind of surprised.
yeah, it's kind of high
It's kind
in
of
this.
high, right? I think we go with a swing on the rookie receiver unless
Okay.
the tight end is appealing too, but do we push that and hope he comes back around?
Oh, to get the stack.
Or just because he's good?
Um.
I mean, both. He's good. I think we push him because we're Bowers or die, and if we get a tight end, we get a tight end.
All right. So Higgins.
Yeah, Higgins. I'm
Okay.
very bullish on Jaden Higgins. I think he's going to be has potential to have a nice role in Houston. I don't want to give out crazy comps.
Yeah.
I'm not like a comp guy, but when I think of uh Jamar Chase, T Higgins, but they're wearing electric blue and red, the alternate colored uniforms of the Texans, and I see Nico and I see Jaden Higgins, it's like, oh, I refreshed and the audio came back on. That's terrible.
Oh
It's not
yeah,
a good
yeah.
comp because it's not a good comp because, but also it is because Joe
Um.
Burrow, the Ohio State quarterback, ends up going to LSU. CJ Stroud, Ohio State quarterback, and then you got Nico. No, obviously not Jamar Chase,
Um.
but so we're on the clock
So
here.
so yeah, running back or tight end.
I'm a slight lean to the tight end, but I'm curious to what you think, like structurally, we would need.
So we're up again around there. We can go with the tight end. I mean, it's another like flex option. Um, and then he does stack, so that's kind of nice.
Or do you think we need to swing for the ceiling at running back since we're late to the game and that guy could
I mean,
just be like a
we have
huge hit?
four good ones. I'm
Yeah.
okay with either pick. Which one do you lean? I'll let you
Who are we
take
gonna
it.
get more use out of on a weekly basis?
I mean, Blue if he hits, but Goddard in general. All right, I
I
think we
switched it
got
to
Goddard.
blue. Did we get
Oh,
it?
did we get Blue?
Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
switched it to blue because you kind of convinced me there. Um,
Yeah,
I think Goddard's
I
obviously
just
good, but like we have to bet full in on Bowers, and
yeah. Yeah, and I just think like I don't know, Blue obviously has a ton of downside risk, but I think his upside is hard to match with almost any player this far back.
100%. And we'll know immediately. Is
Yeah.
Blue startable, or is he just going to be our contingent player for later in the season, or what happens there? Versus Goddard, we have to make a conscious decision to start him in the flex, and so we're already, I'd rather start the players we already have in the flex.
Right, right. And then we have like Blue and Higgins as more upside swings as the season kind of goes.
100%. I mean, if we're seeing Jaden Higgins is just torching everyone, and he's like the guy, we can
Mhm.
start to flex him in. Same thing with Blue. If he's getting 14, 15 touches a game, whoa, let's get him in there. This Dallas offense is good. I want a piece of the Dallas offense, right? I don't think we had any Dallas pieces until that. And it's a very expensive
Yeah.
price. I don't like paying up for I normally wouldn't want to pay up this much for Blue, although like I'm a believer. I've seen every snap, every game Blue's played in college. I know what he's capable of. I've seen the fumbles, but 14 total touchdowns last season, and 8 of them came through the air, I think it was. Maybe it was
Yeah.
6. I'd have to look it up. I think it was 8 through the air, but a
And
ton.
Nick made a good point too. He's a free look. So we can play him week 1 and then pull him out if he does bad.
People forget. Nick, the champ, coming in here. Appreciate you being here, Nick, as always. Let me just fact check myself. So Blue. Wow, I go on the wrong site. I can only see total touchdowns here. Jaden Blue, his stats last season, he had 8 rushing and 6 receiving. I knew it was one or the other, but there we go. He's got. I mean, he had 42 receptions last year in college, and that for at a top tier SEC program, splitting the work with Trey Wisner, who wasn't a slouch on his own in the like catching passes. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
an
no, I
electric pick.
mean, and I think too the Cowboys, they've kind of shown like maybe the archetype of running back, they would still give him a good amount of work. I mean, Rico's not the biggest running back by any means either. And, he was able to get a full workload, even being, not really a true running back most of the years he was there. Like, so, maybe they do have confidence in who they drafted and they're willing to give him a little bit heavier workload than you would expect from his archetype. He doesn't need much.
Mhm.
He's so fast, right? He can break giant plays.
100%. Yeah, facts. Let me
I'm
catch up. Let
gonna
me catch up with this.
I'm gonna grab a water quick. I'll be right back.
Of course, of course. I'm gonna say what up to the chat. Likes the texture of the RB room. Appreciate that, Steph. Yeah, thanks. We go rookie. We go hard on the rookies. We go for the upside. No, two meals. Appreciate you being here, of course. Miles, what's up, brother? Famously, best ball bros aren't allowed to have player takes. Yeah, okay. Well, famously, best ball bros aren't allowed to have player takes. True. The ugly Christmas shirt. Packed. Higgins all day. I agree, Alex. I'm pretty bullish on Higgins. He might be able to start him. That's a good point, James. I think that is kind of what we were leaning. But also, whoa. The one hole, yeah, going hard on the QBs, right? So the Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray double tap as you already have Patrick Mahomes. Not necessarily how I would play it. Exactly. Yeah, I'm catching up with y'all's, but I saw that in real time too. Yeah, maybe I'll pick one of them up for free. Y'all are funny. What up, Disbanded? How you doing, brother? Would have been on week 1 waivers. Get out of here. Yo, what up, PPR? Tyler, how you doing, brother? Fun stream earlier today. As always, hope your Saturday night's going well. Yeah, hola. Bueno. Que paso? Is that a Christmas shirt you're wearing?
Oh yeah. Yeah, had to rep Michigan.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's a Michigan shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Had to rep the homeland.
Likely to Antonio Gates. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I was pretty close to your homeland last week when I was on vacation. I was flew into Chicago, drove through Milwaukee, went out. I was outside of the city limits of Milwaukee, out in Wisconsin. So that's not too far from Michigan.
Oh yeah, not too far. Couple hour
Not too
drive
far.
or something.
Yeah. Similar. It was getting hot there, so I'm sure it's getting hot in Michigan this time of year as well. It's hot everywhere right now.
Yeah. It's pretty surprising to see the kicker go that high.
It's a bit high for me. I get it. Brandon Aubrey, he's been on the winning teams, right? He's been the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But round 11, I'm just curious if that's a bit early. It's probably like at best, it's like 3 rounds, 4 rounds early, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe like around 14 is like around where maybe you would pick him.
Sure.
I mean, I guess
Sure.
his ADP I think is not far off from where they picked him, but
Is it really?
yeah, it's not too
Yeah.
far off. Um,
Nick's a fan. He likes to pick.
yeah, I guess maybe that is fair because he is the best kicker.
Nice, Billy. Yeah,
Mhm.
we've been ripping drafts. You been ripping drafts this weekend, Hartman? Have you been doing any pit bulls or anything else?
Oh yeah, I finished the poodle, so I got all 20 of those in. And
Same.
then I did a couple pit bulls. I think I have like 5 of them done or something.
I've only done 2 pit bulls so far, but I'll make up some ground. Maybe do some more later tonight. We'll see. I love some of the players we have queued. I mean, the top one in the queue, I'm just not so sure about, but I just don't know where
That's
his
fine.
ADP goes in this, and like where he goes in this, and if I think it's a fine range, probably, right?
So he's the second highest by ADP.
Right.
The
He's got to be.
first highest is at the bottom of the queue. I just added them. It's or here, I'll put them up here. So the high, so it's in ADP order now.
So I'm just not crazy about that guy.
Yeah, me neither.
Pretty much either of those top 2 guys, I don't really like.
Okay, so I think we just take them both off then.
Probably.
All right, cool.
The rookie receiver, I do like, but I
Okay.
also like the top running back right now, the rookie running back. I really like him too. And we both do. Is this the range?
Do you like both receivers or just the rookie?
I like both.
So maybe we take the rookie running back first.
Let me just do some confirmation on where I think. So this is our 12-13 pick, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's take him. This is the time to do it.
The running back?
Yeah, the rookie running back. Let's take
Jarquez
Hunter.
Yeah.
First team all SEC out of Auburn. Incredible. The Rams move up, trade up to take him. They've got plans for him. The Thunder and the Lightning. We've heard the coach speak about their excitement to use him in conjunction with Kyron. They love Kyron, but Kyron, famously one of the leaders in opportunities at running back over the last 2 seasons. Maybe they start to lighten his workload a little bit. Who knows? We're back on the clock. I like both the receiver options. I don't like the running back as much, but I understand the upside he has, and I think he could fit this team pretty nicely from that perspective. But also, I think he didn't have a good showing last year, the sophomore.
So I lean Trey Harris for the upside.
I think
we could just say him. These are all top ADP.
I think I lean Trey Harris. I obviously like Rashad Bateman.
Trey Harris is also a pretty big faller.
I think we grab Harris because we can, because we should.
Yeah,
and we've now taken as true kind of RotoViz sickos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rookies in a row. Who saw that coming?
Yeah. We both subscribe to RotoViz. We listen to Sean Siegel, if you couldn't tell already.
And I'm in Texas. Shout out. It's hot. It's hot everywhere, but it's definitely hot here too.
Yeah.
H-Town, what up? Yeah, Eddie. How you doing, brother? Good to see you again. Hope you're having a great Saturday night. I appreciate y'all being here. On a Saturday night, you're spending it with us. We're drafting this Ffpc Big Gorilla. It's high stakes, $350 entry, $1 million up top. And we were saying earlier when the draft started, it's Hartman and I's first Ffpc draft. We're doing it together. We've done, at this rate this summer, just on stream together, I think you and I have done what, like 20 drafts?
Yeah, probably close to it. Because usually we rip quite a few. Like, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's always a good time. And, I think that's kind of why, too, we felt like pretty good about ripping this together. Is like we've done so many drafts together. And I think, we think about the game pretty similar and have pretty similar player takes even.
Yeah. And then we'll just wait until the regular season for the sit-start decisions to ruin our friendship. The draft will go great.
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to draft. And then...
well, week 1 will be easy, though, because like Nick brought up in the chat again, Trey Harris, another free look.
We're killing the game on free looks. We've cornered the market on free looks. And also, you and I both, as we were saying, you're like, what? You're close to 600 drafts in. I'm close to 400 drafts in. This is a part of our fantasy portfolio, but it's not like even our biggest part, even though it is a high stakes draft and it is a very big part and it is somewhat of our bankroll management, but it's not like this draft is not going to make or break our fantasy season. It's just a nice other piece to diversify our portfolio, have some fun, keep us busy with a managed team during the season where we've got hundreds of other teams that are best ball, they're unmanaged, that we don't really get to, do anything with throughout the season.
Well, yeah, and it is really cool too, like drafting on this site with such different ADPs and like
Yes.
where's the value, what's the the scoring differences, like strategy, different values, it just makes it fun to have a whole different setup that you're drafting in.
100% agree. I think it's always fun. And for this is probably it's probably been this is probably the third year that I've consumed FFPC content because of the crossing of formats. I can't tell you what, like a DraftKings ADP is to a T, but I still watch some of those drafts. I still listen to people who are drafting those, and I stay in tune with ADP movement on those sites as well. Probably Drafters is the one the least because of the whole like being a marathon format. But whether it's redraft, dynasty, managed leagues, best ball leagues, I think there's so much crossover on the knowledge consumption part and the research and the player takes. And then you just have to figure out, the game theory part of each specific different type of fantasy football. So that's where, long story short, I like just consuming all of the content as much as I can get my hands on sharp content. And then I'll figure out the game theory of what I think I want to do. But as far as other people's player takes and then getting more specific too, like, the game theory of like, how do you play a managed league format like this? What's the opportunity cost of each pick? Taking an elite QB or taking an elite tight end? How do you play that out in the mid rounds, right? These are some of the things we talked through on our Thursday stream we did together, where we talked for about an hour about what we would do if this and that. And it felt like both you and I thought we were going to have a pick around 10 or 11 or even 12, right? Like I was I was like, dang, we're going to get one of and that's kind of a good spot to be because you can double tap and you're in the corner. I did not see the 102 coming in our future. I did not think that would be our outcome.
Yeah, it almost would have been easier if we got like the 104 or something like that. Like, but I mean, I feel like the board's fallen like pretty well to us for everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like with that very first pick, like if we would have got like the 104, it would have been way easier.
Free look at. Yeah, it's hot out here, boys. Touch some grass, go out by the pool, get a cool drink, hit up the lake, jump in the ocean, all these things. I was going to go to the pool today. We didn't make it, but we'll go tomorrow. We did go to the park today. It was too hot. We are seasoned vets. We're going to fake it till we make it. Did you notice you're taking these day 3 RBs in a totally different RB tier than the rest of the room? Because we like the day 2 and the day 3 running backs. Caleb was day 2. All the rest are day 3.
Yeah, I mean, we took Scatabo, but I mean, Scatabo is the highest price day 3, right?
Yeah, he is the very top.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I don't know. I mean, Jaden Blue, Roshan Johnson. I guess Roshan's like a vet technically, but like not much of a vet. Yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit. But we got probably the best day 3 guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's landing spot. The Cowboys, the Rams, like these are primo.
Yeah.
Coming up on our next.
I mean,
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say these are guys with opportunity in like the Rams are an ambiguous backfield, but there's room for someone to take a small opportunity share and then have big contingent upside. And then the Cowboys are completely ambiguous. So I mean, I
100%.
think yeah, Jaden has upside that others don't.
I can't believe that one player's still there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow, that's wild. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
Gesicki just went. I thought Gesicki could be an interesting pick, but we don't even need a tight end. I'm just saying, like, I thought it would be an interesting pick because he's kind of
Yeah.
a wide receiver playing tight end.
Um.
Bateman goes,
All
Pat
right.
Bryant goes.
What do you like here? This is a tough spot.
This is a tough
Um.
spot.
I mean, we can pull guys up too at this point. So if you see anyone, just add them to the queue.
Likewise, we know what you're thinking.
Um. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with that one. Let me actually remove that receiver. Um.
Which receiver,
All right.
or I guess
Oh, I added Thielen, but I just took him out. We probably don't need that. All right. So you think Samson or Lloyd?
I would lean Samson.
All right.
We just keep it going with the rookie running backs. I think this is the right range to take Samson.
Yeah, I think so too, because he's another guy that we'll see like 2 weeks into the season how big his role is. If Quinshawn looks like a star, then it might be a while, but if not, then Samson could have a role right away.
Oh,
All
did
right,
Lloyd
what are we
go? I
thinking?
was say I'm not opposed to Lloyd, but I don't have a high confidence in him.
Yeah, me neither. Um,
What do we think we really need? Because we've gotten to a point with our wide receivers. It's like, do we take another receiver? Do we keep hammering running backs that we think could hit?
I mean, I'd probably lean running back. Um, yeah, probably running back, I guess. What do you think? Do you have any names jumping out? You can just say them if there's anyone.
No, not specifically. I think it's all kind
You-
of be in a similar range for the next couple picks. So I'm cool
Ke-
with the guys that you queued up.
Keaton Mitchell or Thielen? Which one?
I mean, we've got T Mac, so I guess just go Mitchell
All right,
because we're gonna have a nice look to see, what his role
we
is.
we got him. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, and I mean, I think he's same thing. We can cut him pretty quick if he's not performing, but he has pretty good upside too. Um,
Yeah, I like his upside. I like the offense, obviously.
so right now on our team, so what do we have? We have 5 receivers, and then we have 7, 8 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, I mean, I think with the format that feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think
Like,
because we just wanted to kind of cap off our running backs with the guys we thought had the most upside, and now we feel like we're good there. It's time
mhm,
to circle back to some other positions.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, no, I like that
yeah,
range
yeah, I
for
think we're
for for Keaton Mitchell. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think we just want to see what's going on there and potentially like a huge contingent upside play on one of the best offenses.
yeah, and I think like it's tough in that range because I think there's a lot of guys who it's kind of a flat tier. That's just kind of like my biggest one I lean to, but
No,
I
I
think any of them are fine. Like Corum, Shipley, Giddens, Rico.
what's the difference? It's just
Right,
pick your
right,
team. Yeah.
right. And obviously the Ravens, they just have offensive upside like not many teams in the league.
I'll make the argument we could have considered Shipley, but I'm not a Shipley believer, so like I'm just not there on him. But with the whole, with our whole team kind of early draft capital with the Eagles, with Hurts and AJ Brown,
Yeah, I get more team correlation.
I guess, but at the same time, Shipley is kind of negatively correlated with Hurts to some extent, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And like, I don't know, cause I think with the contingent guys, it's not really as much about team correlation because it's
That's
like
true.
it's all on a bet that someone else gets injured or something, right? Because if Saquon's playing, we're never going to start Will Shipley. And
Yeah, 100%. So I guess it doesn't really matter because he's just full contingent. So it doesn't really matter the Hurts overlap that much. Um, do you want to do a? So I think we just went through it, but do you want to? So what up, Chase? Hartman, would you scroll through the top and just go through all of our picks for us?
yeah, sure. All right. So we went Brock Bowers, AJ Brown, Rashi Rice, Jalen Hurts, Ted McMillan. And then we did a run on running backs. We went Caleb Johnson, Tony Pollard, Brian Robinson, Cam Scattaboo. Then we went back to receiver, Jaden Higgins. Then got Jaden Blue, Jarquez Hunter, Trey Harris, Dylan Sampson, and Keaton Mitchell.
Nice.
So right now we have 5 receivers, 8 running backs, and then a quarterback and tight end.
And so as I look at our build with the 5 picks we have remaining, we'll take a kicker, we'll take a defense,
Mhm.
and then we've got 3 other positions we can take. I think clearly we'll want to take probably I'd say 2 receivers. And then
Yeah, probably.
we have a free pick, and that probably goes back to tight end. Not that we'd have to take one, but there could be an upside rookie pick at tight end that we think is worth stashing.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that'd be a pretty good way to play it. I'm just kind of looking at our roster to see, like, would we ever look at another QB or no?
I'm
Probably
gonna
not,
filter for
right?
QB right now, and then look at that, and it's like, is it? So I've queued up 2 players. Do you think it's? Do you think you'd be interested in one of? I've queued up a few players.
Oh, okay, let me refresh it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, I like that tight end quite a bit. I
Me
think we
too.
should definitely get him. With the QBs, I just don't know. Like, should we take a second QB if we, especially if we can get a stack, or or do we just rock with just Jalen Hurts?
I'm thinking based on the information some of the veterans that we've been hanging around have been saying is that we just play the waiver wire for QB.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like the move.
This sounds like the move because it's so valuable to have, the QB 16 on the season, but we're never going to start him. And if you do start him,
Right.
it's a bye week, and you're always afraid to drop him because the opportunity. You're like, oh, he feels like you drafted him. You shouldn't drop him. You should keep him, and it's a dead roster spot. I think of it as a dead roster spot for like 90% of the games.
Well, and I think too, like we've seen a lot of QBs fall in these, so maybe we revisit it in like the 18th round
Yeah,
if there's no one else on the board we like, maybe we just do that.
I could see
But
that.
I think we wait for a big faller if there is one.
I'm gonna unqueue those players, and I'm gonna leave up that one that we like. I'm gonna scroll through the receivers. Um, this is an interesting name. I just queued one up, and then I'm trying to think. There's a lot of upside plays here, but like which ones are really worth drafting that
Hmm.
we'll get a good look at in the first couple games. Man, this is the range of highly cuttable players. Yeah, I like both of those options. Both the ones you queued up, I like both of those as considerations with our hopefully 17th round pick.
Yeah. I think we get the top guy right
Like,
away.
I'm so glad we took Keaton Mitchell actually because the running backs that have come back around, I don't like any of them.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I got pretty cooked, huh?
Yeah, good call there
Um,
on that pick. And I know you've been high on the missile since the big board days. You were
oh
one of
yeah.
the people always touting the missile. So
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
fun about we've been doing these drafts all summer. We've crowdsourced so much information, and then like I came around to the Keaton Mitchell click. I remember clicking on stream a few times and being like, "Well, I'm more of a Justice Hill guy, but I'll do it for the chat." And then here I am drafting Keaton Missile on a $350 big gorilla.
Yeah,
I've come a long way from the
I think
puppy.
one of the first streams I watched of yours, or like one of the first couple, yeah, it was like I was telling you to draft the missile. Like take the missile, take the missile.
No,
And
Dicker goes.
oh yeah. Well, he's the second highest rated kicker.
Dicker the kicker. I love that guy. It's all
We
right.
could also, I'm gonna add one other thing to the queue for the next pick. But so Terrence Ferguson, right? That's who we're taking.
I think we definitely should do that.
Okay. Yeah, so I did add one other thing to the queue. Um, if we want to look at that.
I've done a little bit of research on that. I don't know how strongly I feel about one or another. I think
So I think the top one I put has like an insanely good schedule.
okay. So it's more schedule related because I was gonna say, yeah, the Minnesota defense there I think is a pretty interesting one, like a good one. I would have I like Minnesota defense for sure. What round are we in again? Where this is coming back through our 17th
This is
pick, right?
17th. Yeah.
Do you lean defense because you think it's gonna be a run of defenses?
I wonder a little, but we can always just like stream defense. We don't really need a good one. We can just play matchups.
What do you think about that top player?
I'm okay with him.
Just okay, not like excited about it.
I mean, he's fine. I'm fine with all four of the receivers. So if that's who you lean, I'm good with that.
No, I've been clicking him a lot lately though, and I wonder
I
if
mean,
it's
because
even
we can cut him also, so it's not as much of a
true.
risk.
Okay, no, I think that's the move then, and we just if worst case scenario we cut him, best case there's a lot of high outcomes that he's a flexible player.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I actually like that pick right there. Especially like kind of thinking through that it's managed. The risk with that pick isn't nearly as high, really. And especially this late in the 17th round when you can just cut them. I mean, some of these guys are cuttable anyway. So I don't really, I definitely don't hate that click there.
Sus, that's a great point. I've definitely heard this argument and thought
Yeah.
about this in the past too. So I think that does make sense. I think the angle I was coming at was like we want the rushing tuds from Hurts. Like that's our bet on Hurts is like the weeks that matter in the playoff sprint. We want Hurts to be rushing for a touchdown every single game. And so then the way Shipley pays off, it's almost certainly he's playing over Saquon for some reason, whether Saquon's sitting out or whatever, missing a few games.
Mm-hmm.
And his yardage total could be fine, but you're not going to feel good that you started Will Shipley over a running back you took, to be your starter. And maybe you flex him, but you're hoping for a touchdown there too. And so that's kind of where I was thinking is like, I don't see how. I wonder, could it be a passing touchdown to Shipley? Sure, I guess it could be, but I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I do get what he's saying because their pass rate will go up, but yeah, like we have decent starting running back, so I mean I don't know. Yeah, how often would we start Shipley, especially if he's splitting time or something?
Hit up to ladies. What do we say? I don't
I don't
remember what
know.
we said. Hit up something. Sometimes I say hit up, but we're hitting up the draft boards this summer. This is best ball virgin territory. We don't go outside. We don't touch grass. We don't take time off. We're always drafting, always fast drafts, and also FFPC high stakes drafts. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate you tuning in, being here on a Saturday night. Make sure you hit the like. Appreciate y'all being here, like I said, and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Hartman's channel as well. It's in the description. Check them out, especially if you're new here, if it's your first time hanging out in the garage, drafting with us. We do fantasy football drafts all the time, all summer long. So come draft with us, hang out in the chat, and a lot of sharp people in this community. I did not realize the amount of crossover that we had between our best ball drafts and these sharps in the FFPC. I mean, I knew a little, but now like getting into the FFPC world, it's almost like one big family. Like there's a lot. I mean, not everyone in best ball plays FFPC, but there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, well, because like this is both of our first time playing too, but like we said, we watched so many FFPC drafts over the years. Like they're just interesting. It's always interesting to see the different formats and everything. I think their UI is pretty good too, where I don't know, like it's not too bad to watch. Where like I noticed on like a DraftKings stream or something, it, I just don't like the like visual of it as much. But I feel like with these, like I don't know, I still like enjoy watching them and everything. And it's cool with the higher stakes and stuff too. You know, you're seeing kind of a bigger dollar cost draft and everything.
Yeah, I've just been looking at the board the entire time, so I've been not keeping up with chat as much, and then I've been, obviously when we make our picks, I'm focused on like what we're talking about, but I've been so intrigued with these other teams and how they're drafting because these are the teams we're going to go up against, and like not only seeing where the ADPs and the players are going,
Well,
in this format, but
the
like
three
yeah,
defenses, the 5 spot, is that what it is? Yeah.
3 defenses, yeah, that's a little bit absurd, but 3 obviously there are 2 good defenses, and then I guess Dallas is suspect, but if you have healthy Dallas defense, they should be all right.
Well, I'm imagining he has some kind of schedule played out with that.
I could see that where you're going to ping pong between defenses based on early schedule.
It's weird though because he also took the highest defense overall. So it's like
It,
you would think when you're taking the top dog, you're not really gonna take
yes,
2 more, especially.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, if you're doing it based on schedules, you're going to take them late, and then you're going to have this, have a little formula figured out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna look. I was looking at the schedules a little bit. I'm just gonna add the defenses with the best schedules overall to start the year.
Yeah,
Um,
that's smart. The one of them that I was thinking of is already gone. It would have been the San defense, San Francisco.
yeah, yeah, no, they have the best schedule overall too.
Right.
Um, but
I don't know
yeah,
what
yeah,
the one I just added one. I don't know what their schedule looks like. I just am not super familiar with their schedule. I'd have to like pull it up real quick. But I just think of them as like a potentially strong defense.
okay.
Let me go ahead and pull up
Do you want to
schedules.
type it? Do you want to type it in the private chat?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
We haven't used the private
sorry.
chat at all.
I know. Yeah, it's taken me a minute to see the queue update.
Because some of these teams that have good defenses, they like won their division. And so they have like a tough schedule.
Right, right. That one's pretty good actually. They have 2 like really bad games, but the first 2 weeks are good,
I'm
and then
looking at it
after
now.
that they're
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Because of the first team they play, you think that's a bad
Mhm.
matchup?
No,
Or the third team,
that's not a
they
great
play.
team, the 3rd team, and then the 6th team.
Yeah, that is pretty rough because you're not going to want to start them
Uh,
on either of those weeks.
Here, I posted a link in the private chat. Click that quick. This
Yep.
is actually a pretty good chart.
Oh yeah, I think we were looking at this one time before. Because this is based on the percentage is based on the difference, right? Okay.
Yeah. And then so I'm kind of focusing on the early season. Like I think especially the top one in the queue, their early season is like really, really good.
I'm open to it. I'm not as familiar with their defense, and that's not a team that like I focus on a lot, but I'm definitely open to it. Like I think if that's what we want to call, that's what we want to do. It's a good call.
They did a ton in the draft for defense. I think like 6 of their 7 picks or 6 of their 8 picks were all defensive
It was
players.
all defense. I do remember that actually, and I love their first 2 matchups. At least you'd hope that you'd like those first 2 matchups. The first team they play notoriously starts the season strong, but I mean they have a completely new situation, and then the second team we're kind of hoping is not terrible. The third team's not a great matchup. The fourth team's really nice. The fifth team could be nice. The sixth team, so like, yeah.
All right, we're up.
I think we go ahead and the team on our inside only has the Minnesota defense, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel so strongly about either of those 2 receivers that you would take them preferentially?
I would probably prefer grabbing the defense.
The defense?
Yeah.
Let me take a quick look at the one spot's team. I'm just scrolling up on mine. I think.
Oh yeah. Well, so they have Minnesota.
They have Minnesota. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 receivers. I wonder if one of their clicks going to be a receiver. But if you don't care about like either, if you're good with either of those 2 receivers,
do you have a strong preference? We can go receiver if you want.
No. I'm thinking through. I know we both like the top guy, but we also already have McMillan. Let's take the defense.
All right, Cardinals.
Yep.
All right.
Came down to the wire on that one. I mean, we had to think through it. It's like I think we both
they were top of queue.
Yeah. When you showed me the strength of schedule, I was looking at it on ESPN as well, and like just clearly you can tell they have the week 8 bye, but out of their first 7 games, there's only 2 that I would be like afraid of.
Right. And then so are we thinking receiver here and then kicker last round?
I don't have any strong, really strong kicker takes now that the kicker's gone. So
okay, yeah. I mean we can go Coker then.
I think
is that who you want?
Probably. I think that's the way to do it.
We can look at.
Or a quick question for you: is there ever a scenario where you're going to start both T-Mac and Coker in a given week?
Probably not. No.
In that case, should we pivot to?
We could do like Deontay, AD Mitchell.
I'm open to AD Mitchell, of course. I'm wondering if Deontay is kind of a fun flavor of the week pick, and we can just cut him if he's not anything.
Do you want to pick Deontay or AD Mitchell?
I'll let you can pick it.
All right, it was AD Mitchell.
I'm cool with AD. I know I'm a big AD fan. Definitely cool with that.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I'm happy getting him, Coker. Like, I don't even barely have any Deontay. I was just looking at the top receivers and saw his name. Mitchell's the guy I picked quite a bit, so I'm pretty happy getting him.
Yeah, I have not drafted Deontay once in anything. I think he's getting steamed up right now, but famously, I think I asked you on stream the other night, or maybe I asked somebody else, but the question was who had more receptions, Deontay Thornton in his entire collegiate career or Jack Bech last season alone?
Was it Jack Bech last season?
It is Deontay Thornton by 3 receptions.
Wow.
So I'm a strong believer in like seeing it. I think Thornton obviously has a lot of attributes that are attractive: size, speed, practicing with the first team. Mm-hmm. But realistically, we've got Bowers, right? So like we're going to be starting Thornton and Bowers. Like I don't see that happening either.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really see Thornton cracking the lineup. I mean, maybe, but it just seems like he's more of like a only in best ball type click. Like he seems like a guy you're never going to trust and manage, even if he does have a good year.
And then Mitchell's super cuttable. We just need to see it. And
Yeah.
he's always been a red zone guy. He is I mean, he didn't show much last season, didn't have a touchdown famously last season, but in his collegiate career, had a touchdown in every college football playoff game he ever played in for Georgia and Texas. So he was that guy. He was the one standing in the end zone with the ball going over his fingertips on fourth down in the fourth quarter for Texas against Washington in New Orleans. Me there in person, waiting on, with bated breath on if is AD going to catch this ball? Is Texas going to come back and win this game? No, Quinn Ewers overthrows him. But he's a guy where it's like we're going to see it immediately. Is he good this year? Is he a year 2 breakout? Is he a stud? Is he going to make it NFL, or we can cut him, pretty quick?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think with him and obviously if Keenan signs or not, if AD, how many snaps is he playing, how many routes is he running, they'll be pretty easy guys to cut. Or like Keaton, Sampson, how much playing time are they getting? They'll be pretty easy cuts too if they're not getting playing time.
Yeah, and it's just taking players that we like. I've taken a good amount of AD. We easily could have gone Coker. We easily could have gone Thornton. I think you see those guys get drafted as much or more these days. But the Coker bet doesn't really work on our team when we've already said it's Teteroy McMillan and he's going to be the target hog. I don't know if we'd feel comfortable. Maybe you'd flex him, flexing Coker, but starting 2 Panthers receivers in our lineup, it just seems a little bit far-fetched.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does seem that I don't know, yeah, how do you really start both unless T-Mac is hurt? Or unless Bryce Young's a crazy breakout.
Bryce Young would have to be like Joe Burrow. And then
I was actually thinking earlier about Bryce Young. I kind of forgot, but I don't think he got drafted.
We can't see now, right? We can't look at the QBs, or no, we can still, no, we can't filter to QB.
Well, you can see the board. I don't see him on here.
I didn't notice him get drafted, but no, I don't think so.
Yeah, no. Wow.
Because I was watching when Penix went before we took Keenan, or after we took Keenan Allen, and so did Jordan Love. Those were 2 guys that I was trying to clock, and then obviously Stroud. That's another one we were looking for. Geno does get drafted.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking we could have done that over AD. But I guess what's really the point of Bryce Young? It's just carrying a 0, right?
I think we get stuck into the situation where we're just holding a QB until the week 7 bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather cycle players every week on the back of our roster.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. That's fair.
I like the pick that you had up, and then did he get drafted?
I don't think so, not yet.
Oh no, okay. I don't know why I disappeared in the queue for a second. I like both the options. I think they're both the highest by ADP.
Yeah. And I was looking at some rankings. They were both the highest.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've got too.
Yeah. Will Lutz?
Yes.
All right. The rankings I was looking at had him as a tier 1. So.
Well, you're kicking in that high altitude helps a little bit, and then
yeah.
I think the Broncos super strong defense, and then we'll see what Bo Nix's ceiling is for converting touchdowns, but you would think that the way that Sean Payton plays, he's not afraid to kick a field goal either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they kicked quite a bit of field goals last year, right?
They were probably, God, I have to look it up. I did a little kicker research, but then I didn't look back at it for the last probably couple days. You looking at like number of field goals attempted?
Yeah, sure. So let's see. Um, so field goals attempted, they were like 8th or so.
I was gonna say I knew they were top 10.
Mhm. But Will Lutz is also like way more accurate than the guys around him. Like he has 91% accuracy. So he's right up there with like the top guys for that.
I guess field goals attempted. Maybe I'm on NFL.com.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
they're about the middle of the pack, right? They're not terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we were the
Field goals
last
made,
team to take a kicker also.
right? Field goals made. They're a little bit. They're actually the 91% make, which is like one of the highest.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I'm good with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. With the kicker, you just kind of see how they're performing the first couple weeks. We expect them to be a pretty good scoring offense overall. That's all you can really like really target, I guess.
AJ Dillon with the last pick.
Yeah. Interesting. Some
That's
people
a
say he's
player where
won't.
you're gonna know before he ever does anything impactful. So you would just keep him on waivers and then spend up for him on waivers
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're not going to see anything out of him until he has a serious role.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree. I don't really think it's worth drafting him. I mean, you do look at the running backs going though. Like you're you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel anyway.
I'm so happy we took Keaton Mitchell where we did. I think that's one of my favorite picks, the way we capped off the running back room like that. And then we flipped back. We still got Terrence Ferguson. Keenan Allen, I think I almost feel bad for how much I've been drafting him. But there's just different people I've been streaming with and drafting with. And almost everyone was more bullish on Keenan Allen than me. So I went and kind of revisited it. And my only fear was the fact that he would retire. And so that's a dead roster spot in best ball. But in this format, he's perfect. Like if he retires, great. We have a free spot to pick up another player.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like he was still really efficient last time he played. So, yeah, just having the ability to be able to cut him if he doesn't sign. If he does sign, it's just a massive win. Like in this format, it's so much easier to take a guy like that.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean,
Early on
I'm
Terrence
pretty happy
Ferguson,
with
we
how
could be. We have Bowers though, so he's kind of our upside swing.
yeah.
You know what's funny though is that Ferguson and Bowers have the same bye week.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're both week 8.
But here's the thing: we're not carrying a tight end just to play him on our other tight ends bye week. That's insane behavior. We're carrying a tight end that we think could seriously be a talent and hit. And then when we get to week 8, when Bowers is on a bye, we pick up another tight end.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
have to get away
Yeah,
from
I
like the
mean,
best ball brain a little bit to remember what to do in managed leagues. Like the idea of holding players for your other players' bye weeks to me is insane, especially at the onesies. What
well,
if you what
yeah,
if your
I
if your
think if
bye
you had
week
like
is
a
your
week
quarterback in
5.
week 14, you're like, oh, I've got I mean, there's no good quarterbacks. I've got Brock Purdy, but I also took Trevor Lawrence because there is a bye week in week 14. It's like you don't want to sit on Trevor Lawrence for 13 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think with tight end though, it will be hard to pick up a streamer at tight end with
Yeah.
so many people taking like 4 of them. But
Well, people might drop somebody then. You never know what's going to happen, and we'll have different situations break out. I wish we could see the players available at tight end, but scroll to the bottom of the board for me. I want to see like the last after we took Terrence Ferguson. I mean, I can think of like
Just
2 or 3 tight
Arroyo
ends
and
that didn't get
Fanning.
drafted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here,
Yeah,
scroll up
there's
so
a
we can
couple.
see. So there's no tight ends in the last 2 rounds. Can you just scroll up so right past Harold Fannin? Or I don't know why. I guess so everyone can see. I can see it on my screen. I have my own board, but so for instance, Juwan Johnson did get drafted. Did
Mhm.
Jatavian Sanders get drafted?
Oh, no.
Did Tyler Conklin get drafted?
No.
That was the one that I was thinking, the first one. And
Yeah.
then the other guy would have been Komet. Komet didn't get drafted, did he?
No, I don't think so. No. Yes, I mean, there would be some options then to go on the waiver wire. I mean,
And
we
yeah.
could even go on the waiver wire right away and do the entire Panther stack.
pick up Bryce and pick up Jatavian.
Yeah, just do a full Panther stack because we already have Tet.
It's true.
Yeah,
And Coker did get drafted, right?
I
He went
think
in there.
so.
He went, yeah.
No,
No, he didn't. I thought he went in. I guess not. That's funny.
yeah, wow. So yeah, so the only Panthers players that got taken were
Chuba.
Tet and Chuba. Maybe Thielen. Thielen probably went somewhere.
Thielen did.
Oh,
I'm glad we
Leggett
didn't
went.
take Thielen either, though, because it's the same situation where it's like, I mean, Thielen can still be good and pay off, but we're just like really, really betting on T-Mac, and there's limited starting roster spots. So how confident are we going to be any given week starting 2 Panthers? I can get on a different team. You're flexing Thielen, and you're saying, I hope it's Thielen's week, but I don't want to hope it's Thielen's week. I want to hope it's T-Mac's season.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, like with Thielen, how are you ever really going to feel confident starting him? He's a guy that you more would want like early if you need it. But we don't really need early production, right? So yeah, I don't think he would have fit the build at all.
True. In fact, Dirty, I'm locked in. I'm seeing the matrix, the numbers. You guys are seeing a draft board. I'm seeing zeros and ones in green and black, 1998 code. That's how I'm visualizing what's going on here. Dodging the bullets. Hartman's reining me back in. He's like, we're on the clock, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm 10 picks ahead. I'm thinking about our last round pick that we're taking Will Lutz. We made it happen. Steph wants us to churn. She would like that. She's pushing the churn propaganda, being part of the waiver wire column community for high stakes drafting. She's trying to push the churn idea to get more reads on the waiver. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't give up. The AZ defense, yeah, we made it happen. So tell us a little bit more, Hartman, about your thoughts on the Cardinals defense and why we felt so good taking them there.
I think with the Cardinals defense, so I can actually share this really quick.
Yeah.
Is that showing? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is just a chart that's showing like the different strength of matchup, like strength of schedule throughout the season for these defenses. And the Cardinals don't have the best, but they have a very good early season, especially their first 6 weeks. And they're a team that has a defensive head coach. They drafted a ton of defensive players in the draft. So with the early schedule combined with, the hopeful ascension of the defense, they just seem like a really good pick there.
Couldn't agree more. We're only really afraid of the 49ers and the Packers. But not so afraid. I guess it's at San
Yeah.
Francisco, but it's a divisional game. And then home against the Packers in week 7. They go on bye in week 8. So by the time we get to the decision about do we want to start that defense against the Packers at home in week 7, we're already thinking ahead to week 8 when they're on bye. And maybe we're dropping them at that point before week 7. Or
Right.
we let them face the Packers. They come back from the bye in week 9 and play Dallas. That's probably not a great matchup. So On the flip side of that, they've got Seattle, San Francisco at home, Jacksonville. So by that time, a lot will change. It's the middle of the
Yeah,
season.
yeah. I mean, I'm thinking we're likely gonna drop them like week 7 or 8,
Right.
unless they're like really overperforming where they're a top 3 defense easily, maybe. But if they're not doing that, then I think we just cut them at that point, and then we can pick up a team that we like the schedule going forward.
100% agree. Let's being a good pick. I like it. I like the let's pick. I mean, obviously, I'm just obsessed with Dicker the kicker. He's been one of my favorites for a while, but you don't
Yeah.
always have to have the best or second best kicker. And
And
then the
just when you
kickers,
look at the gap, like
yeah,
he went so much higher than the other ones. And where did Aubrey went? So Aubrey went in the 11th round. The next
insanity.
kicker didn't go till the 16th round.
I guess there's some theory about that though, where it's like you want to start the players that are going to hit the starting lineup instead of taking guys on your bench that you're eventually going to drop. But our rebuttal to that is the guys on our bench. It's not like we're just holding on to second tier talent for bye week fill-ins. We're trying to hit a home run with Jaden
Mhm.
Blue, Jarquez Hunter, Trey Harris, Dylan Sampson, Keaton Mitchell. We're not trying to hit a double and then get hit, around the bases into home. We're trying to hit the home run with each pick. So that's kind of how we went with our draft.
Well, he's passing up on upside swings like Rashid Shaheed, Luther Burden, even like Algier, Jarquez, Roshan. It's like you're passing up on big upside swings, Brenton Strange even, in favor of getting a kicker that I don't know, he probably will be the number one kicker, but what margin is he really separating you by at that position?
The range that Luther Burden went is kind of insane to me. I almost wish
Yeah.
we had the opportunity to draft him, but I think I really like the picks we made in round 11 and 12 and 13, especially since we got Trey Harris in round 13. Makes me feel a whole lot better on missing out on Burden. But that
Mhm.
value on Burden, that's like such a fun player to have for this season, and to get him in round 12, like what an upside swing. Like obviously Dak and Drake May, you could argue were like potentially the best picks in that round, but
Mhm.
you'd have to you know, still have the need for a quarterback to be able to fulfill that with those picks. And then I think the Dak team didn't go to the CD team, right? So I mean, I'm forcing you to scroll up, but I have it on my board too over here. The CD
No.
team was one before that guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then
In
he day right
insane
after.
behavior. Yeah,
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
the CD Lamb snipe on the team that had Drake, CD, and JSN.
Yeah.
I like the team in that spot. I like the way they built and then took
That,
Drake May in the middle. They obviously got
oh,
sniped on
yeah.
Dak, and that was like terrible
Oh,
for
and
them.
they had Diggs too.
Right. So they had a backup plan. They had your favorite player, Ramadunze, and then they got Dallas Goddard, one of my favorite tight ends. So I really like that team in that spot. It's a whole different. That's like this is kind of the team we might have built if we were in that position where we didn't have
Right.
access to Bowers and we skipped the elite QB.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is true. I don't know, I really do like how that team's built. Like kinda like we were saying with like a Stroud, I don't know if we would have made that pick, but yeah, it seems built really well overall. And then I was kind of looking, I like this team at the 11 spot also.
Adams is a
Um,
great pick there.
yeah, and they started McBride, Genty Adams, Hampton, Trevion, and they kind of hammered receiver. I think got a lot of good values on their receivers.
I was saying how much I liked the Hampton pick when they made it, and then they get Travion too. It's another fun one. Pickens, we love Pickens. Downs seems like a great pick. Egbuka, incredible, right? Like super fun pick in this format. I guess we were at the point where we were still hammering out the running backs, is why we didn't consider Egbuka with our ninth round pick, but we still get Higgins. And so, just in the same way where we didn't take Burden, but we got Trey Harris, we didn't take Egbuka, but we get Higgins. Like, there's I think it's a very similar tier of for those rookies and like kind of the outcomes we're looking for. The ones that we got, I could argue, just as good of a pick, and then we get them a little bit later, and it fit our team need for what we were drafting at that time. So it just comes down to like who actually hits, and then the landing spot. Like if both Higgins and Ffpc hit in year one, and they're really great receivers, and you'd love to have them and start them on your team, then it just comes down to, okay, but how are the Texans doing in the passing game? How are the Buccaneers doing? Ideally, I would think the Buccaneers are a pretty good landing spot. When people started to say, "Oh, Ffpc, he landed on the Bucs, that's a bad landing spot," I was really confused by that. I was like, "What do you mean a bad landing spot?" Chris
Yeah,
Godwin's coming off a
attack
huge
them.
injury, and he and Mike Evans had missed time last season. I don't think it's like, oh, Ffpc is a play for the future. I think Ffpc is a play for like right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do think a little bit too, like the rookies we got with Higgins and Harris, they might be a little bit easier at some point to start on a week to week basis in a managed format because it's like if either one of them takes over as the primary, like for Higgins, like the second outside receiver, and for Trey
Yep.
Harris, even the primary outside receiver, if
Yep.
they take over those roles, then we can probably feel pretty comfortable starting them week in, week out. Where Buka might just be like, who's getting fed this week kind of thing on the Bucks, right?
Might be harder to predict is I think what you're saying about
Yeah, yeah.
his role. Ffpc can play outside, he can play the slot. And so also like, is it going to be his week? Is he the one who's going to eat, or is it Mike Evans?
Right.
Uh, you might have somewhat of a slow start for Godwin, and so Ffpc could just kind of be hot out the gate. I think with Jaden Higgins, he's going to be pushing, like you said, for that starting outside role, move Kirk into the slot because we know Kirk can play outside and in the slot. But if Higgins can secure that role, and I think he's going to do it, it's seemingly that way. Kirk goes to the slot. Maybe there's some kind of cycling of either Higgins or Kirk in the two wide sets, but that's kind of like that's the opportunity that's like the outcome where he's not playing almost every snap. And I think the Texans do run it three wide enough.
Mhm.
So they do. Sometimes they bring in a fullback. Sometimes they bring in the H back. They can run with two tight ends, and then you're using two receivers. But I think they also will run a lot with three wide sets. With Trey Harris, we're looking for him to win on the outside, and I think he's going to have a shot at doing that like right from the start.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I don't know, just like the way their roles could shake out, you might have more confidence week to week in those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just feel like the value, like the value on Trey Harris especially, that seems pretty crazy. To be getting him that late. Like Higgins, that seems fair to me. But Trey Harris seems really late for his upside potential.
I do agree what we said earlier. The price tag on Jaden Blue is super expensive, but relative to where running backs go in this format and how they're all kind of brought up a little bit, it's him or Eckler, it's him or Spears, it's him or Rashad White, Ray Davis. Maybe
This
we
one's
could have.
pretty crazy.
What's that?
Garendo, that one's pretty wild to me
That's
when you
way too early
compare
in my
that.
takes because it was before Stevenson, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And Dobbins, and right after Tootin. It was kind of. I would have. I would have been really excited to get Dobbins or I don't know if I'd be excited to get Stevenson. I would have taken Higgins over Stevenson.
yeah. I probably would have too. If it was Dobbins, I think Dobbins would have been the pick.
I would have
Um,
I would have been interested in Dobbins. If it was Dobbins versus Higgins, I'd have to think about it.
mhm,
If Mooney was there, obviously we'd have to think about him. I'd probably want him over Higgins, and I'd probably want him over obviously Stevenson. And like when it comes to Dobbins, so Mooney and Higgins, I would have wanted one of them, if not
yeah,
like Dobbins. And then Tootin, I didn't think would come back around when we passed on. We took Jaden Blue. We passed on Ray Davis, Eckler, Spears, White. Those guys, I think it's a similar tier. They're just different, completely different plays. Like Ray Davis, you're hoping that maybe James Cook holds out or he just takes over more of that role, and maybe Josh Allen doesn't score the most touchdowns, ever. And even if he does, we saw what James Cook could do last season, even when they have like a lot of opportunity for the rushing touchdowns. Eckler, yeah, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, I think with our guy, he's the only one in that round who can actually gain ground on his backfield mates over the season. Like he can increase snaps and snap share without an injury or hold out whatever. But he's the only one who can increase his role.
Maybe Eckler could increase, but so why we didn't take Eckler and Spears? We have Brian Robinson and Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
So like those guys were just not on our list.
And I mean Eckler to increase, I guess if you think he's talented, I could see it, but he is an old running back. Just later in the season, the odds would be against him doing better as the season goes.
Yes, I think that makes sense. I just would be curious if he's healthy instead of what happened last year to him with the concussions and missing games. I just wonder if he actually could beat out Robinson. So I'm still like something I think about. I don't think we were going to take Rachaad White. I think Rachaad White could have a good pass catching role and has had good volume in the past, but it seems pretty clear they're going in the Bucky Irving direction. And so we want to play, like you said, Jaden Blue. His outcomes is pointing up towards the ceiling, where Rachaad White, it's like, can he maintain a role or does he lose out more of his role and start to lose touches? Then he becomes a pure contingent play.
Right. And I think you think of Rachaad White as like bye-week play, contingent play. Like, we don't really need that on this team. We just need like moonshots because we already got like pretty solid guys, in the mid rounds that we know are starting. So we just want to take all just absolute ceiling shots.
Yeah. Enjoy the waiver grinding. Yeah. If you think slow draft hell is bad, wait till you grind the waivers on 10 FFPC managed leagues. Yeah. No, this is a really fun team. I think we hit all of the cornerstones that we wanted for our starting lineup. We got a ton of fun rookie picks for the upside. Even Ferguson, at the end there. Dylan Sampson, another one that I think is a really strong pick for this format. And kind of, that what if scenario. How are they going to use him? Mystery box a little bit. A very talented player. One of the only players that is undervalued. One of the only running backs that, because of his landing spot, is like criminally undervalued right now. I'm making an effort to get more of him in my best ball drafts. I have not been clicking him a lot since the big board, but during the big board, I did have a good amount.
Yeah, no, he was the same for me. I had a ton during the big board, but he's a little harder to fit in like an 18 rounder, but I've been mixing him in a little. It does make sense when you think about it. He is a 4th round pick, right? So I mean, yeah, you're just assuming Quinshon's like a bell cow to a level of like, DJ Giddens goes higher than him. DJ Giddens is a later pick behind Jonathan Taylor.
DJ Giddens is playing behind Jonathan Taylor. And maybe next year we're saying, well, Quinshon Judkins is like him and you don't want to be behind him either, but we still need to see it.
Yeah, exactly. And Jonathan Taylor, I mean, we know he commands a 90% plus workload when healthy. And, he's one of the best RBs in the league, right? And Giddens is a 5th round real life pick, right?
I'd have to refresh on that, but that sounds right.
Yeah, so I mean, like, why does DJ Giddens go over Dylan Sampson?
Didn't Giddens go right after Blue? Yeah, Giddens went 2 picks after Blue.
Yeah, so like when you think about it, and then you have Dylan Sampson's a 4th round pick. So it's like when you think about it, why does DJ Giddens go over Dylan Sampson? There's really not people like his profile better. I understand that, but
You're gonna make me
from a
look at my
capital
ranks.
perspective,
I have in my best ball, my underdog ranks, I've got Giddens ranked 191, and I've got Sampson ranked 178.
oh, okay.
I've moved Sampson
That's
up
so
a
pretty
ton.
close.
I'm gonna try to get a bag of some Sampson in best ball. I know it's hard to work in, but on certain builds, and it's only for certain builds. So like the ranks are just a scaffolding. It's like if I'm not taking one more running back in that range, I'm not going to take him. But I want to start. I have so much Jarquez Hunter. I don't want to just take Jarquez Hunter every time as my fifth running back. I want to mix it around a little bit. But at the same time, I also do want Jarquez Hunter as my fifth running back on every draft. So it's like I'm trying to balance that.
Oh yeah, I'm a major Jarquez Hunter bull also. Um, I'm pretty
This is
much just
dangerous. This is why when our powers collide and come together, I mean, hey, maybe it's going to be a good thing to take Jarquez Hunter in the 12th round here. I like him as this pick. I mean,
it is crazy looking at the ADPs when you like looking back, huh? Like taking Jarquez Hunter, Jaden Blue in like the 11-12 turn.
right, but then just think the running back get pushed up because look who goes after him. Like,
Oh,
would you rather have Jarquez Hunter or I mean, funny enough to say, but Tank Bigsby. And yes, this is like a PPR format, so that probably plays into why Tank goes later. But
mhm,
Tank is about to get replaced by his touches by Tootin, and they're like recommitting to ETN. ETN's in a contract year. They could just run him into the ground, and then from his perspective, he's trying to get a new contract with a different team. From their perspective, they have nothing to lose by giving him touches and grinding ETN. So if ETN's healthy, Tank was kind of a contingent play on ETN, like getting ETN's touches and workload. So
mhm.
Tank could have like no upside. Kind of, I've come to that conclusion more lately. I've been really thinking hard on this Jacksonville Jaguars backfield, as we all have been. It's the most fun to think about. But like Jarquez Hunter or Braylon Allen, who pretty much looked like a complete dud last year.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think Hunter just has the upside that he could steal touches without an injury. I guess Braylon does too, but Rams offense versus Jets offense,
There you go.
and then the contingent upside. If Hunter is explosive and he is efficient, then he might eat in a little bit more and more into that workload. Or if an injury happens, then he might take over. Um,
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah,
man,
that's a really fun one.
I feel like the team overall came out really good. I mean, I'm pretty happy with kinda I think all the turns worked out good and we got good capital each position. Um, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
I didn't catch this question earlier, and then I just want to jump on this one. Shadow is wicked. What up, brother? How you doing? Kind of creepy profile picture, but let's move on from that. One man keeper league question: keep Kyron Williams to lose an 8th round, or keep Brock Bowers to lose a 10 round. I would keep Brock Bowers. Tight end slot in my league is a tight end wide receiver slot. I would probably still
Mm,
keep Brock Bowers.
I'd probably keep Kyron because
What?
so that means
Wait a
Brock
second. Yeah,
Bowers
guys,
the
clip that.
slot.
Clip that right there. We caught him. Actually, this is my
Yeah.
alt account. This is my I put this question in the chat. That's actually me. Just to goat Hartman to goat him into saying he wanted Kyron. What did I just hear? You want Kyron on anything ever?
Well, well,
Because I
I
like
don't.
Kyron, but you hate Kyron.
Yeah, no, I mean Kyron's probably the worst RB in the league, but he might get 300 carries. So the thing is the tight end slot is a tight end receiver slot. So like how valuable is Brock Bowers? Like probably not very valuable
Because
at all,
why? Because you'll
right?
just start. We don't
But you
even know
can
who the
start a
other receivers are, though.
receiver or tight end, huh?
Okay, so if there's no differentiation between receivers and tight ends, where does
Mhm.
Brock Bowers go? Just looking at the board as we have it right now, do you take Brock Bowers before or after DJ Moore?
Probably like right around there. I was gonna say like 4 or 5 turn.
Okay.
And like Kyron in a home league will be like a second round pick.
Shadow is wicked. You heard it here first. Hartman loves Kyron
Well,
Williams. You got to keep Kyron Williams.
wait, unless you get to keep them like infinitely though, at the same price, then it's Bowers. 'Cause I don't know how that usually works.
Generally in keepers, I don't play any keeper leagues. My brother's in a few, and so I always help him with questions on this. Usually you get them for like a certain period, but you can't rekeep them like, let's say it's the third year.
If it's like multiple years at that price, probably go Bowers. If it's 1 year, take Kyron.
Incredible. I'm so glad we got that clip tonight. I'm going to post that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hartman makes the case for Kyron Williams. No, you'll never guess which player Hartman makes the case for. Boom. That's a video. That's going to be a short on my channel.
Kyron or Brock Bowers. Hartman tells you.
You'll never guess which running back Hartman prefers to keep over Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
But appreciate your question. Love answering those. Thanks for being here. Thanks for jumping in.
So you'd be Bowers though on that?
I think so. I mean, I just took Brock Bowers, the 102, in a $350 draft. How am I not going to suggest Brock Bowers?
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
Wait, Kyron did go at the 212 in this one, but he goes ahead of Bucky and JT, and Chase Brown. We obviously took Rice. In my head, I was like, do we take Bucky? Do we take JT? Do we take Chase Brown? And then I think we made the right move. I like what we did with Rashee Rice, obviously. Like, I'm a huge fan, especially in PPR.
I think we were both okay with Rice, and I was leaning more JT, and you were leaning more Bucky.
You're right.
It made sense just to kind of go with the consensus. Like, we
Yeah.
both like Rice a lot, and I think we were leaning a little different on the running backs.
Yo, Paulino, what's up, brother? Yes, that's kind of what we did. We took kicker with our last pick.
Yeah. We were the last team to take a kicker.
Which feels good. Feels like we made our stand. We're the first team to take a tight end, the last team to take a running back, the last team to take a kicker.
Mm-hmm.
And we barbelled approached the wide receivers. Like, we did take 3 in our first 5 picks, and then we waited and took 1 more through 10 rounds, 1 more through 13, and then our last real pick was Keenan Allen at 17, and then A.D. Mitchell was kind of a luxury pick where we just tacked him on. We're going to see if he pops off in week 1 or 2. We could churn him by then. We could, if for some reason there's a player that AD is probably our first cut candidate, is what I'm saying, right? So like, he's on our team, but he's also not really on our team. It's like the very first week of waivers, we're going to pick somebody up and we're going to drop him unless we see him having an instant, start to the season, in which case it gets a little bit more difficult because then we go up the ladder and it's like, okay, let's imagine this. Keenan is not retired. Keenan's actually a Cardinal. Keenan is on the Arizona Cardinals. So we kind of like that. That could be fun, potentially. Who knows? If we go up, our first cut is probably Terrence Ferguson, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So
he's the most luxury type pick that we don't need, but we like the upside. Yeah.
Yes. And we might not even be able to see his full potential by the time we need to cut him. So that's kind of the double-edged sword of him. It's like, whoa, what if he's really good, really quick, and the Rams are using him in interesting ways? We might just want to hold on to him and see more. But at the same time, we'd expect that we're not going to see his full potential till later in the season, and he's going to be cut by then. So essentially, maybe not our best pick, but at the same time, kind of a still fun pick to make, and whatever. It's like it's round 16.
Well, yeah, like I don't really know who we really could have picked that would have made a difference.
Right.
I think just taking the upside shot on a tight end, that probably feels the best there. Like the running backs were completely done.
I think the
like,
argument you could make
would have been like Trevor Etienne, maybe. Oh, go ahead.
That's interesting. Um, well, you're thinking because Etang got drafted, or you would even consider him?
Oh, I was just thinking like if we went running back instead of Terrence Ferguson, like the ones after Terrence Ferguson are all not great. Like my pick
100%,
would have probably
100%.
been ETN if we went running back.
My thinking was if we didn't go Ferguson, so I would have
Oh,
wanted to take
QB.
Cameron Dicker if he was there instead of Ferguson. Like I would have been in on that most likely. Although that could be a bad pick too, just like wait on kicker, and we ended up doing that. My argument would be if we didn't use our luxury pick in 16 on Ferguson, we wouldn't have gone running back. The receiver we wanted was either Coker or Keenan Allen. We did get Keenan Allen. Coker goes undrafted, so like we could just pick him up and switch him out for Ferguson, before week 1 even. But at the same time, it most likely would have been a defense that we would have pivoted to. I think we still got the defense that we really wanted. Only 2 other defenses got drafted between Keenan Allen, or I guess Minnesota went. I have to look at Minnesota's schedule, but did they have a hard schedule?
They should have a decent. No, they have a good early season. I
Okay, so
think
that
if we
could have
were
been.
gonna take one there, it would have been Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and they did go right after our pick too.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm pretty happy getting the Cardinals. They were kind of like my like going into this, that was kind of the defense I was planning on because I knew they went kind of late. I knew their opening schedule, like they get multiple rookie QBs. They have like a lot of terrible teams their first like 6 weeks.
No doubt. With Minnesota, you have to draft 2 defenses, or you have to stream because they go at Chicago, which is fine, then Atlanta, which is potentially not incredibly good, but could be all right, and then at home against Cincinnati. So like that's like a terrible
Oh
matchup
yeah.
you would expect, and their bye is week 6. So like to even access the at Pittsburgh game and the at Cleveland game, you have to get past Cincinnati. So like if you're in Atlanta, so I think if you're drafting Minnesota, you're either just banking on that week 1 game against Chicago and then you drop them, or you move on, or you just are like streaming defenses, or you can pair them up with someone else. The other team you were thinking of was Pitt, right? So if we would have taken Pitt over Terrence Ferguson, their schedule for some reason is just, there it is. Yeah, Jets, Seahawks, Patriots. So that's, and then the Vikings, of course. So, and then week 5 bye. So 3 out of their first 4 games are pretty attractive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, but I think the Cardinals probably have the best overall schedule, or at least like debatably. And then, I really do think their defense could make a leap in general, just with
Mm-hmm.
like, that's their coaching. They spent a lot of their draft capital there. I know they signed that Eagles pass rusher that's really good. Josh Sweat. They signed Josh Sweat. So they've been doing a lot for their defense too. So I think they could kind of make a leap in general.
Yeah, no, I like the way it turned out. Like, I don't regret any of our picks. I think we thought through it pretty well. We went with a certain team build. We had a lot of this. We went down a certain path, but we had already talked through our decision tree on our Thursday stream before we went live. We were talking through it. If
Mhm.
if this happens, then what? If we take an elite tight end, do we get the elite QB? Well, probably not. But if we do, we want it to be Hurts. And then what it really came together is we took AJ Brown, and when he fell to us, I was like, I was already
Yeah.
bookmarking Hurts. I was like, kind of as you do in any of our drafts, any of our best ball drafts, like if you take AJ Brown, you're hopeful you have the opportunity to consider being able to draft Hurts, and then when you get that opportunity, why would you pass it? Because
Yeah. Well,
he
yeah,
already
and
has
like
Hurts already has the value standalone as a QB. But then the added element of being like, yeah, and you have AJ Brown, and he's our number 1 wide receiver, and we're saying it's going to be AJ Brown's season. That means you need Hurts to. Um, you don't have to have Hurts, but you'd like to have Hurts.
yeah, well, and I just think too, like with the stacking, we obviously wanted to stack our QB with our top receiver. And I think when you look at the receivers we took, like you either have to go a really late guy like Bryce, or you look at where Mahomes goes, he's a 7th round pick. Like I feel way better getting Hurts on the 4-5 than Mahomes at the 6-7 to stack with Rice.
Yeah.
Like, that feels way better to me. And we have like a semi-elite guy, like arguable with any of the other elite guys, really. Got him at a little bit more of a value, and we have it all stacked up with our top receiver. Like, yeah, it feels really good to do that. And then we have that core like stacking component.
Yes, it's a core stacking component, and then kind of the way we built around it as well. I'm pretty psyched for T-Max matchups weeks 15, 16, 17 during
Yeah.
the sprint, where he's going to be playing at the Saints in a dome, Tampa Bay at home, and then which like he should shred them. Like you see what Thielen did to Tampa Bay last year. We saw what everyone did to Tampa Bay, and then at Seattle with the last game. So like, I think there's like you could argue. Well, we both like T Mac, but you could argue that maybe for our build, it could have been another path we could have gone down was taking RJ Harvey or Joe Mixon, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, even any of those guys with our 5th pick in the our second pick in the 5th round, our overall our 5th pick. But is it that different than getting Caleb Johnson and Pollard 2 rounds later, like and then because the receiver in that range, I guess we would have been looking at like Jaden Reed or Diggs.
Well, so let's say we could have went like Harvey, Connor, Mixon, Henderson. We could have went one of them instead of Tet, and then we could have went Olave instead of Pollard.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, but
like,
then
how much worse is Pollard than one of those running backs? And Tet, I think, has more kind of breakout upside than those
yes,
receivers, probably.
I think so. I do think a lot, like you were saying earlier, Olave is pretty undervalued in this format right now.
Yeah, especially full PPR. I mean, that price is just that price is pretty bad for full PPR, pretty low.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Even
Yeah,
like honestly, the SF guys too, like Jawan, like that whole 7th round of receivers, like Ricky, that seems more fair, but all the other ones that seems pretty low for them.
right. What do you
I
think
mean,
about
I also
what do you think about where Pickens went?
yeah, I mean, I think that's a crazy value.
Right.
I mean, like, yeah, we just weren't in the right spot to be able to get him really, because I don't think we could have picked him over T Mac. And like to me, like after Tet, I think I'd take Pickens arguably over all these receivers that went.
Yeah, I was thinking that when it was happening live, there was a half second when we started the 6th round where I said, "What if Pickens is there with our next pick? Do we just keep going receiver?" And then it didn't happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But to get Caleb Johnson versus Swift versus Judkins versus Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, it feels fine. It feels like a pretty flat tier, but we have a lot of upside as well. And then on the stream I did last night, I pulled the chat and I said, is it Quinshon Judkins season or is it Caleb Johnson's season, right? Like who would you rather have straight up? 60 60 40 or like 65 35, it said Caleb Johnson. So I was crowdsourcing on that. I personally lean Quinshon Judkins,
Yeah,
but
me too.
it seems like the chat is a little bit more confident either in the Steelers situation or just Caleb Johnson, on his own. So I don't know which I didn't get a whole lot of explanations, but I've
I've
been
been looking
open to
at
the idea of
many.
Caleb Johnson. Obviously, he's a round 3 pick running back, so the hit rates are low in general, but playing with an Aaron Rodgers offense, you'd hope that raises the ceiling versus if it was just Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. And then I think he beats out Jalen Warren. I'm not really a big Jalen Warren guy. I've been interested in Jalen Warren in the past. He's got like 5 career touchdowns. He's just not the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think Caleb is a little bit risky just because, like, it's that tough argument where, like, do you think the running backs fell a little in the draft because there were so many good ones? Or do you think he's like a late third round caliber talent? And if he is, then his like profile is like not great, but when it does hit, it hits in a big way, right? So I I don't know. I'm okay with Caleb Johnson. I lean more to Quinchon mainly because of draft capital.
Me too.
But I think Caleb, that system will be really good for running backs in general. And if he can even take just a larger workload out of the two, then, he can definitely pay off his ADP easily. And then I love getting Pollard there too. Like,
I love. We've been talking about this all summer.
yeah.
Pollard's a great pick in this range. It's just him versus the wide receivers is where I start to question it. But him standalone versus the other running backs, like he's a smash.
Yeah, I think he was easily the best running back there. I think just our structural, like, of our build, that just kind of forced us to go RB. Maybe we didn't have to if we knew B-Rob and Scadaboo were coming back, but I do feel pretty good getting Pollard there. We have 4 RBs we feel pretty good about, 3 that we know are gonna get good playing time. Um, I feel pretty good.
Think about this one. So T-Max in our flex, right? And then
Mhm.
we're starting Caleb Johnson, Pollard, and we're flexing B-Rob, right?
Yeah, week 1, yeah.
Flip side is we skip Caleb Johnson. We take where'd he go? Olave. Let's just say we
Yeah.
took Pollard and Olave. Maybe that's who we preferred, right? I think I would have probably leaned that way. So
Mhm.
we have Olave now in our flex with Pollard and Brian Robinson in our running back. So our flex goes, or our swap there is we're still starting B-Rob, but it's whether you'd rather flex Olave or Caleb Johnson. And I honestly kind of lean Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, I mean,
It's close.
it's tough because with Caleb Johnson, it's just he's either gonna like way beat his ADP or way disappoint, right? So
Yeah,
it's
he has
just
to
so
beat.
hard to say. His ceiling's higher, but his floor is a lot lower, I'd say,
No, you're right.
assuming
You're right.
health.
Olave is the safer play for sure in that flex situation. I'm kind of hopeful that Higgins or Scadaboo makes a push to replace Brian Robinson or Caleb, whichever one. If Caleb doesn't hit, we're going to be moving B-Rob into our RB spot, and then we're going to need a
Mhm.
new flex. And so hopefully it could be Scadaboo, it could be Higgins, it could be Jaden Blue right off the bat, it could be Trey Harris. I don't know how soon we see Jarquez Hunter hitting a flex role, but we're pretty hopeful
Could
that
even
it's like
be.
a real possibility, right?
It could
Could be
even be
Keenan.
Keenan Allen. Yeah.
So I think we're covered that we don't need so much. We don't have a big bet on Caleb Johnson. Yeah, we took him there, but if he flops, like we can move him out of our flex pretty quick or move him out of the starting lineup pretty quickly and flex in some other players that we feel strongly about that we are able to get later. So right here, it's like the reason we took him is for that ceiling outcome upside. If he doesn't hit it, then we just switch him out of the lineup.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we're carrying 8 running backs. So if any of them hit their contingent upside or have more of a role than we think in, like camp and all that, I mean, we might kind of just have like a wealth of running backs in general.
No doubt. Super fun, man. It flew by. I mean, a 2-hour draft.
Yeah.
We've reminisced on it for 30 minutes looking at our roster. This will be definitely one we won't be ashamed to share with the other piss boys, the zero RB zealots out there, the Rotoviz, the Slappies. I think everyone will appreciate this team. It's one you can you can post and feel proud about and say, look how far I pushed running back, and also how many rookies I took, and also I took Brock Bowers. I did it, and everyone's gonna clap and go, congrats. Now put this team to work and actually prove that it can win.
Yeah, well, we don't have to worry about that for a couple months at least. So,
Yeah,
you know, we can just imagine it's the winner for a while first.
that's the best part about drafting in June. It almost always feels good. So, man, super fun team. Glad we got this one under the belt. We've officially entered the FFPC streets. Watch out. And appreciate y'all all being here, drafting with us tonight. Yeah, more drafts coming soon here. Make sure you hit the like before on your way out. I've got a stream. What's tonight? Tonight's Saturday, tomorrow Sunday. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go live tomorrow. Maybe, could be fun. We'll see. Hartman, do you have any streams coming up that you've got scheduled or planned you want to promote, talk about?
I'm gonna stream tomorrow afternoon,
Nice.
probably.
Perfect. I'll check out that stream. I'll be there hanging out. I'll probably be drafting tomorrow. I might go live. I'm not sure about tomorrow night, but I have the Ballsy show here on my channel this week with Bindles and with none other than our extra special guest, PPR Tyler. So it's going to be a fun time. Go buy yourself a case or a sixer of Bush apples and tune in and drink some with your boys, and we'll draft some Best Ball Mania teams and other teams and things. And maybe he'll convince us to draft a Superflex team. You never know. He is the Superflex thought leader right now, self-proclaimed, but also I believe it. And that's Monday night here, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Tuesday night, I have another extra special guest, and it's going to be Andrew from the league, FFB. He's going to come on. We're going to draft a Best Ball Mania team, see what else we can get into, get some of his thoughts. So I'm super excited for that one too. And then, more drafts to come. And we're getting towards a 4th of July week. So everyone have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you later in the week. We'll see you tomorrow during Hartman's stream. And make sure you follow on Twitter at FFB Garage, Hartman at Hartman_FF. We'll catch y'all in another draft real soon. Appreciate the GLs. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Peace.